Hello. And then the awkward silence, like usual. Gotta post my links into the usual places. Gonna post one there. Gonna pause the video. Gonna go to my server and type something. Hig. Very fast. Psycho anime girl running at incredible Higurashi speed. That was the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. I guess I can post here. Where is it? Oh no. Here we go. That's the right channel. It's like nothing you love. Lol. Hello, Daisy. My stomach, like, kind of hurts a little bit. Not in the usual way, though. It feels like it's tense. Like I'm clenching it, but I'm not. So clearly the best thing to do with my time is spend 3.5 hours screaming into my microphone, pretending I'm a murderer. Hey, Sketch. Okay, I think we're ready to start. So, last time, we went batshit crazy and killed our grandmother and kidnapped the mayor and also imprisoned away Mion to take revenge because we determined that the Sonozakis and the village leaders as a whole are responsible for the conspiracy of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. So, we'll have to see how Shion's murderous rampage continues. Where did we get to chapter 11? Yes, we did. It's funny, I said I was probably going to stream more between, like, end of December and, beginning of January. I can't open this can, so I'm going to have to use a mini cheese grater to pull the tab. There we go. I fritated the peanut foam. Oh wait, I should probably pop out the chat so I can have it somewhere that's easier to read. Like, here. Grandma murder. Forgot about that. You don't just forget about the grandma murder, okay? Yeah, I said there were going to be, like, more streams between end of December and starting my job. Then I did one stream. Started my job yesterday. And now I'm streaming. Just kind of worked out like that. My sleep schedule was really not conducive to streaming. There were plenty of days I could have, but I was always asleep around this time of day. Because, good. I don't know. Anyway, enough waffling. Let's continue. I will not... There's no way I can make this, like, a 6-hour stream, whatever. If we get, like, 3 hours in and we haven't covered everything, I'm afraid I'm just gonna have to deal with that and go home. And leave and go to sleep, because... I start more work in about 13 hours. So if I want, you know, my sleep and then to get up at the right time tomorrow, I can't go longer than like 3 or 4 hours. Why is there a mini cheese grater at my desk? Because I was grating cheese. Oh god, I don't remember any of these voices. What? Mi-chan, you didn't get much sleep either, did you? I've never had Sour Patch Kids. I've seen them at the, there's like a newsagent that sells American candy, though. 2 times my gameplay. Yeah, gameplay. It's just reading text, anyway. Did you? Did you? Yeah. I went to bed at like 3. I'm a little tired. 3? Hey now, you can't keep staying up late. You probably read the first volume of a manga, thought it was interesting, and then read the entire series, didn't you? I understand, I've done that before. What? Wait, is it about the mayor? I don't remember if that's my Rena voice, but... He still hasn't been found? Nope. I went to the Furide shrine to join the youth group in their search for the mayor. Since I knew there was no way he would be found, it was really boring for me. Well, just enduring sleepiness wasn't that bad. Not if you considered what Kimiyoshi had to go through since last night. He had been hanging from the ceiling and couldn't even fall asleep or sit down, since he had to stay on tiptoes the whole time. The teacher explained to us that the mayor had gone missing and asked us if we knew anything. A couple of people said some things, but they were irrelevant. Thanks, Keiichi, clearly you're an expert in sleep deprivation illnesses. To me, this issue meant nothing, but it was all my classmates were talking about. I observed Keiichi Maebara. I had no idea if any type of danger was drawing closer to him. Maybe I'd call him again tonight, pretending to be Shion. I told him some outrageous stuff last night, so he panicked. But I was sure he'd calm down after a day. At that time, I heard a little girl's laughter. It was Rika Furide, the last survivor of the Furide family and their current head. However, she wasn't really treated as one. During the family councils, she'd often draw pictures or take a nap in the hag's bed. She wasn't even invited to last night's meeting. It was hard to believe such a little girl was responsible for a part of the curse system. However, even though she wasn't in a respected position as the head of the Furide family, there were plenty of old people who worshipped her as the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. I'd heard from someone that Rika Furide was rather odd, and seemed to behave as if she knew that she was that reincarnation. Maybe Takano-san had told me that at the library when she was alive. When Rika Furide became worried about something, the elderly people who worshipped her would make arrangements. It was very similar to the Sonozaki family, and it was also the same system as used for the curse. I wonder, does Rika Furide know anything about the deaths of Takano-san and Tomitake-san? What does she think of people sneaking into the ritual storehouse? Does she know who snuck in and what happened to those people? As the one managing the storehouse, it was possible that she noticed the intruders first. In fact, she was the only one who could have noticed it. She must have passed on that information, which was why the curse was executed. That foolish Keiichi turned the light on when we went into the ritual storehouse. That light switch could have been connected to some kind of an alarm. Rika Furide, the leader of the Furide family. Maybe getting to know her would be a good idea. As the leader of the Furide family, how much do you know about the incident? He just likes to bullshit around these religiously superstitious lines. I asked her rather directly. It was hard to tell if she understood I was asking her in place of the Sonozaki family head, instead of as Mion Sonozaki. Are you talking about Tomitake and Takano? Rika answered. The news hadn't been made public yet she knew about it. Although she looked immature, perhaps she truly was the head of the Furide family. That's the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I already know that. But it's not over yet, is it? There should still be 2 more. Have you heard about what will happen to them? I tried to be vague to see how Rika Furide would react. I'd been thinking that she had nothing to do with the underside of Hinamizawa, since she was always treated like a child. However, Rika had just said things about the incident which normal people shouldn't know anything about. That proved she belonged to the underside's network. I don't think that matters anymore. She answered the question about Tomitake-san and Takano-san fairly quickly, but took a little longer to answer this time. Did she have to think about it? Shit, the look on her face never changes. It's impossible to figure out what she's thinking. What do you mean? How can they get away with what they've done? I think if they feel bad about what they've done, they should be fine. Her response was unexpected, especially after seeing all the old people get so furious last night. To trespass in the ritual storehouse was blasphemy against Oyashiro-sama. The village elders had said those intruders deserved to die. Yet the leader of the Furide family, who protected the sacred storehouse for ritual implements, said that if they felt remorse for it, then that was fine. I recalled how people thought of Rika Furide's father during the dam conflict. Yes, her father was called an opportunist back then. He didn't agree with the Onigafuchi guardians, who had resisted violently during the conflict. Like father, like daughter. I aggressively grabbed Rika Furude by the collar. Huh? What the heck are you talking about? You're pretty stupid, just like your predecessor, aren't you? The Furude family must understand better than anybody how sacred the ritual storehouse is. How could the head of that family say such a thing? I laughed at myself. I was told the same thing by someone else and was now saying it to Rika. Don't you know how serious a crime trespassing in the ritual storehouse is? It's a very important place for Oyashiro-sama, so nobody can go in without permission. See, you know that. But those 4 people brought their filth in there. What bad kitty cats? Meow. That's right, bad cats. 2 cats have been caught and punished. There are 2 more. Meow. How do you think they should be punished? Tell me your opinion as the head of the Furude family. Rika really didn't usually wear any expression whatsoever, making it impossible to tell what she was thinking. But while I grabbed her by the collar and stared at her, I could tell somehow. Rika was a little disturbed. I sensed she was trying to see what I was thinking in turn. I want to forgive those 2 kitty cats. Why should they get away with what they've done? Me? What are you trying to say? That's a good question, so let me explain. Those 2 must offer compensation for what they've done. They have to clear away their sins. Otherwise, Oyashiro-sama won't stop being angry. Every crime must be punished appropriately. Do you understand? Oyashiro-sama doesn't get angry even if someone enters the storehouse. Huh? What are you saying? The reason why nobody is allowed to see the ritual storehouse is because there are too many scary tools in there. I'm sure people would get scared if they saw them. That's why we don't let people in there. I'm sure those intruders are scared too. And I'm sure they feel bad about what they've done. They're forgiven once they feel bad about what they've done? That's not for you to decide. That's what Oyashiro-sama decides. I'm the shrine maiden of Oyashiro-sama, don't you know? Of course I do! You aren't telling me that Oyashiro-sama told you he isn't angry, are you? Rika nodded yes without hesitation. I can't believe the lies she's coming up with. I'm not surprised, I'm shocked. Ha! That's why your parents died of the curse 2 years ago. Oyashiro-sama was angry because they didn't deserve to serve him. That's why he cursed your father. Oyashiro-sama would never do that. My father didn't die because of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Am I really talking to the last shrine maiden of the Furude family? Obviously, Oyashiro-sama can't be at peace. You wouldn't be opening up the opportunity to come up with rhymes of Higurashi. There are some pretty bad results. Yeah, like Figurashi. I mean, you know, public figures. What do you even say about them? Digurashi, you know, I mean, do you really want to get all dirty down there? Okay, that's enough of that bit. You're supposed to worship Oyashiro-sama. How pathetic. I don't know why you're so angry, me. I realized. She was in a position to know as much as the other 2 family heads. As proof, she talked about this year's incident as though it was nothing. Yet she could feign ignorance with a serious face. She sure is something. She's even better than me. I slapped her a few times and pushed her to the floor. The anime version of this is pretty unintentionally funny, by the way. No, it's not a single slap. I slapped her a few times, so she was like, At least I remember it being like that. Rika, having tumbled downward, looked up at me with tears in her eyes. This all happened because you wanted to change the storehouse's lock to something that was easier for you, right? That's true. The old one was too heavy, so I talked to Kimiyoshi and he changed it to a cheaper, lighter one. If you left the heavy lock on, maybe that would have prevented them from trespassing. This is your fault, too. Don't you forget that. Of course, the Kimiyoshi family, who actually changed the lock, is responsible for this, too. That last part was something I added on a whim. I added it to connect Rika's story to the disappearance of Kimiyoshi. I wanted to pressure her psychologically by doing so. The head of the Kimiyoshi family had to pay for his crime. That's why he disappeared. The head of the Furude family has to pay for her crime too, you know. Rika was still on the floor, tears pouring down her cheeks. Keiichi Maebara is the last one left. I suppose the Furude family will take care of him. I don't know anything. You don't need to know anything, do you? You just have to look worried. That's all it takes. That's how it is at our house, too. Anyway, good luck. I don't... Rika hung her head. She seemed to want to say something, but she was afraid that I might be rough with her again. I doubted Rika Furude was actually at the top of the curse system like the hag was. However, as one of the three family heads, she was a lot closer to the underside of Hinamizawa than I was. By now, that underside was well aware of Keiichi Maebara. I told the elderly leaders of the village yesterday in the meeting that Keiichi Maebara was the last one remaining. I just told the head of the Furude family the same thing, if threateningly. If my threat was effective, the curse of Oyashiro-sama should very soon fall upon Keiichi Maebara. And at just the right time, I would grab my enemy right as he took my bait. If the assassin came from the Furude family, this girl would have committed the same sin as the hag. When that time came, I wouldn't hold back. I was going to make sure she suffered, and then kill her. I've heard of a torture technique where you pound dozens of nails into a victim's fingers. I already found a restraining table and the tools for it. When the time comes, I'll pound nails into your fingers. That gruesome anticipation radiated from my eyes and scared Rika even further. This is why Rika died/disappeared. People say, please should come back. That's crazy to me that there are actually people out there that say that. It's just edgy. I wonder how Kimiyoshi is doing. I doubt he died from tiptoeing all night, but sometimes a human can go very easily. He already told me everything I wanted to hear, and he doesn't know anything else anyway. On top of that, he was responsible for spreading the infection that was the curse system of Oyashiro-sama. Yeah, to clarify though, in Watanagashi, we did... Rana did determine how exactly Rika and Satoko died, or how they disappeared, the whole thing with the soy sauce. Though, I don't know if it was outright confirmed, but yeah. His sins are very heavy. I really liked Uncle Kimiyoshi. He'd always been kind. The hag was so tough on her relatives, and that's why he was extra nice to me. When we talked yesterday, I was so happy to hear him say he would forgive Shion. He even said he would fight the hag to save her. That made me very happy. Don't worry. If Shion-chan feels bad about what she's done, she won't be demoned away. Leave it to me. I felt such warmth inside of me. I almost shivered. I was so happy, yet so very sad, for he continued to say that Satoshi-kun deserved to die. He said those nice things because he wanted to make Mion happy since she was worried about Shion. Satoshi-kun deserved to die just because he was a member of the cursed Hojo family, but Shion-chan of the Sonozaki family did not. That's what he meant. In other words, to the leaders of the village, including Kimiyoshi, members of the Hojo family are more contemptible than insects. They didn't care if they lived or died. Their sin was not only that they despised the Hojo family so, but also that they let that hatred infect the rest of the village. Therefore, everyone in the village deserves to be a victim of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Kimiyoshi and the others created an environment that excused murder in that name. If that was so. If Takano-san and Tomitake-san hadn't committed the serious crime of trespassing in the ritual storehouse. Then Satoko Hojo, the last survivor of the Hojo family, and Teppei Hojo, who has been hiding in Okinomiya, might have been the victims. Is this the first time we've gotten aught of Teppei? I don't think they actually had any in Tatari Goroshi. Anyway, hi play. Good evening. Satoko Hojo. She was always around Satoshi-kun. She expected Satoshi-kun to help her every time she cried. She was one of the people who cornered him. If Satoko wasn't that much of a burden, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have killed his aunt. Somebody told Satoshi-kun to commit that murder. And to hide the evidence of his connection to the mastermind, Satoshi-kun was demoned away. That's what Oishi thought. If Satoshi-kun hadn't killed his aunt, maybe he wouldn't have been chosen as last year's victim. Because the commands were vague, after all, the curse of Oyashiro-sama fell upon the Hojo family as a whole. It didn't matter which member of the family died. His aunt had a terrible reputation in the neighborhood. She didn't communicate with her neighbors, she was always throwing fits, and there was nothing nice about her in any way. You didn't recognize him? Okay. Even if Satoshi-kun didn't kill her, the curse would have fallen upon her sooner or later. Their aunt was the first victim. There needed to be another Hojo to calm the curse. According to a rumor, their uncle was living somewhere in Okinomiya with his lover. However, Okinomiya was a little different from Hinamizawa. The Sonozaki family was powerful there as well, of course, but it would have been more difficult in Okinomiya to demon someone away. So naturally, Satoshi-kun and Satoko, who were still in Hinamizawa, became the targets. Which one should be cursed? That was simple. Satoko, of course. She was snobby and lacking in manners. Everyone in the neighborhood liked Satoshi-kun. Even if he was the son of the Hojo couple who betrayed the village during the dam conflict, compared to Satoko, he didn't deserve to die. Therefore, the actual victims of last year's curse should have been his aunt and Satoko. Satoshi-kun was suddenly all alone. His mean aunt and mean uncle were gone. His sister, who was a burden to him all his life, was gone too. Satoshi-kun was such a nice person. He would be sad, although he'd realize he was finally free. But time would heal him. I'd even help. He didn't have to live in his house in Hinamizawa. There were plenty of empty rooms in the apartment block where I lived. I could find him a part-time job, too. Yeah, Okinomiya is different. The people there are sane, or at least seemingly sane. He didn't need to go to school in Hinamizawa. He could go to school with me in Okinomiya instead. He wouldn't know his way around, or really anything about the school there. So I'd be with Satoshi-kun all the time. I'd show him a shortcut to school, we'd go shopping, and I'd teach him many different things. What an unbelievably happy ending. Satoshi-kun had been suffering so much, and I'd been pushed away all my life. But we would finally be happy. I enjoyed these sweet delusions, but I didn't have any more time to waste. I was sure there were plenty of old people who'd been trying to get hold of Orio all morning, and who were going to try to catch me after I got home from school. Actually, the phone had been ringing constantly while I enjoyed my happy thoughts. When I answered the phone, I casually listened and replied. As I planned, Keiichi Maebara is now known as the next curse victim within the underside of Hinamizawa. Probably because they don't sniff swamp gas 24/7. I also tried to let them know that the disappearance of the village chief had something to do with the fact that he changed the lock on the ritual storehouse's door. All the authorities in the underside came to realize the seriousness of trespassing in the storehouse. After all, one of the heads of the three families got punished. One of the phone calls was from Oishi. He had also heard about Kimiyoshi's disappearance, and he knew it had something to do with the changing of the lock. I'm impressed. He has some pretty good sources. But all he can do is catch whatever information he can get. There's no way for him to find out where it's coming from. I'd call Keiichi Maebara again later tonight. Some of the more aggressive villagers may have already started to take action around him. I'm sure that by now, Keiichi is feeling the danger that's coming toward him. I'd have to be careful that he doesn't get killed easily. If I can catch the enemy before they bit Keiichi, I can use him again as bait. Keiichi Maebara. I haven't known him for that long. He's funny, if not intelligent. He'll never replace Satoshi-kun, but I do think he's fun to be around. There's just one thing I don't like about him. He rubs my head far too often. His hand is as warm as Satoshi-kun's hand, which is why I can't stand it. But that's about it. Keiichi Maebara isn't Satoshi-kun's enemy. I don't hate him. He's fun to be around, but I wouldn't shed a tear for him if he became a victim of the curse. I won't prevent Keiichi Maebara from being killed, but I won't kill him myself either. I'd made arrangements for the curse to fall upon him, but I never told anyone to kill him. Well, I suppose I did tell Riko Furude to take care of Keiichi Maebara. Wait a minute. To avenge Satoshi-kun, I'm doing exactly the same thing as the hag did. I'm using the exact same system that killed Satoshi-kun. Keiichi Maebara. I'm just using him. I told people to let the curse fall upon Keiichi, but I've been giving him appropriate warnings. I'm going to help him if he tries to live. If I catch all of my enemies, maybe I'll let him loose. He's different from Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun was tricked into killing his aunt, and was killed himself afterwards so there wouldn't be any evidence remaining. I won't kill Keiichi Maebara. That's how I'm different from the hag. Evening was turning to night. I had to get dinner ready. I had to eat so I'd have enough strength to take revenge. This place was far from the town. It would even get isolated during winter because of the snow. You can't fool me. That's the same background as the random shack where the kid was being held captive like 3 towns over. It's not unusual for a household like this to have 2 or 3 refrigerators. There are plenty of groceries left in them. I was glad I didn't have to go grocery shopping. I could hear the chorus of the Higurashi. People often say that the sound of the Higurashi brings back memories. But for me, it's the exact opposite. I've only ever heard the sound of the Higurashi in Hinamizawa. Therefore, the sound of the Higurashi, to me, is Hinamizawa. The sound reminded me that I wasn't supposed to be here, that I couldn't be here. That was when I heard the doorbell. Because there was a good distance between the house and the gate, there was both a doorbell and an intercom by the letter. It had a security camera, too. Something as modern as a security camera monitor in this old-fashioned kitchen looked rather strange. I turned the switch, but nothing appeared on the monitor. I tried to check the plug, but there were a bunch of cords going behind the refrigerator, so I couldn't even do that. It's the same damn background, just with a different beard and mustache. The doorbell continued to ring while I tried to figure out if the monitor was broken, or if I just didn't know how to turn it on. Who the hell is messaging me? I only felt like answering the door depending on who it was. It'd normally be easier to pretend to be out, but that wouldn't help me. I was waiting for my enemies to show up. I couldn't just hide myself in that case. The hag was supposed to be sick and in an extremely bad mood. I'd already sent word out that she didn't want to see anyone. So who could it be? I made up my mind and turned the intercom on. If it was someone unwanted, I could just turn whoever it was away. But I had to act normally so I wouldn't arouse suspicion. I had to act normally. Yes? Who is it? Hello? She didn't tell me her name, but I recognized her voice. Rika-chan! What are you doing here at this time of day? I ran out of soy sauce, so could you share some with me? Soy sauce? I almost screamed, but I controlled myself. I took a moment to think about the situation. Hinamizawa was far from most stores, so sometimes neighbors would share seasoning and stuff with each other. The village sometimes got snowed in during winter. But the Furude shrine was quite far from this house. It was rather odd for her to come all the way here on her bicycle just to get some soy sauce. Maybe she was using it as an excuse. Maybe there was something she wanted to talk to me about. That was when I noticed a piece of paper that was on the refrigerator door next to the intercom. We still have plenty of homemade soy sauce in stock. Feel free to come to the Sonozaki house if you want some. The hag must have given that flyer to everyone. One of our relatives sent her a barrel of soy sauce. If you want some, bring a container. That's what the flyer said. I see, this would explain it. There was a handwritten note on the bottom of the flyer. The soy sauce is in the storage area under the floor. Give them as much as they want. There was a storage area beneath the floor. When I opened it, I saw a barrel of soy sauce alongside a funnel and a ladle. I didn't want Rika to notice anything suspicious at this point. I decided to share the soy sauce with her. Give me a second. Let me check what the... Oh, good. The messages say Gawfields and then Gawfield. Good shit. Oop, that's not what I meant to click. May I see it? No. Okay, nothing interesting. Sorry about that. Sure. Did you bring a container? I brought a soy sauce bottle. Okay. Come on in. I'll be at the front door. As I headed there, I heard the doorbell ring again. The gate is locked from the inside. I can't open it. Ah, that's right. Sorry. I'll be right there. Just hang on. People didn't pay much attention to safety around here in Hinamizawa. People didn't think too much about locking the doors. But as someone who's lived in a town, I've always locked everything. To let Rika Furude in, I'd have to go outside. Good evening. Good evening. Rika smiled at me. She was holding a huge soy sauce bottle. She acted like I never yelled at her, got violent with her, or made her cry at all today. Or perhaps she came to curry favor, thinking that she angered me. I invited Rika to the front door. I told her to wait a moment and tried to take the bottle. But Rika took her shoes off and walked into the house with the bottle in her hands. Don't worry, I'll get it for you. Why don't you wait there? Soy sauce milkshake? I'm pretty good at pouring soy sauce into a funnel, you know. She looked at me as if begging. I guess she wanted to pour the soy sauce into the bottle herself. I didn't want her to come in the house, but I suppose I didn't want her to wait there alone either. If she came to the kitchen with me, I could keep my eyes on her. And so I brought Rika to the kitchen. We walked down the hallway. I only heard my footsteps. I stopped suddenly and turned around to make sure Rika was following me. Rika bumped into me. Sorry. I made sure she was right behind me and started to walk again. Tap, 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 tap. Rika must have been having fun matching her footsteps to mine. Even when I quickly sped up, our footsteps matched perfectly. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. I stopped suddenly. Tap, 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 tap. Rika stopped suddenly too after taking an extra step. When I turned around, Rika smiled at me. Our footsteps matched perfectly, and when I stopped suddenly, I heard her extra step. I've experienced such footsteps before. It was making me feel uncomfortable. But now, although her footsteps sounded the same as the other ones I'd experienced, I saw her when I turned around. That was the difference between them. I left the storage door open so we could see the soy sauce barrel. The memo said she can take as much as she wants, but I wasn't sure there was enough left. I crouched down and tried to open the lid of the soy sauce barrel. Even when I crouched down, I could hear Rika's extra step. Good, there's plenty left. Take as much as you want. When I turned around, Rika was very close to me. But, who was this? I saw Rika, but it wasn't Rika at all. It was like when I switched with my sister. The outside was the same, but the inside was different. Did Rika have a twin sister? I was confused for a moment. That was when Rika sprayed something from a small bottle into my eyes. Huh? I felt a terrible pain in my eyes, and suddenly tears poured out and my nose started to run. I couldn't stop sneezing either. As I stumbled around, covering my face, I then realized I was attacked. I shut my eyes tightly for a moment, then opened them again. Rika was about to grab my hair to drag me down onto the floor. When Rika saw me open my eyes, she sprayed at me again. I shut my eyes to avoid the spray, but my nose still breathed in the substance. I avoided the pain in my eyes, but the tears, the runny nose, and the sneezing continued. Shit! Ah! My brain isn't working quickly enough. However, when I finally understood that I had been attacked by Rika Furude, my brain started to grind into motion. Rika Furude knocked me on my back and got on top of me. I tried to escape from her by rolling on the kitchen floor. As I rolled, I hit an oven, a huge jar, and destroyed a pile of something on the floor as I fought back. But Rika didn't let go of me. She stayed on top and restrained me. She was sitting on my stomach, and I felt intense pain and pressure. She sure could fight well. I still couldn't see anything. Rika had the upper hand, my eyes were shut, and I was in real danger. As I tried to blink, I saw Rika's expression. I didn't know Rika Furude all that well. I only knew her from the few times we met when I went to school as Mion, and from the things I'd heard from other people. But as far as I knew, there was no way Rika Furude would ever do something like this. This is just impossible. Impossible! Impossible! No, I can't fill my head with that word. I have to calm down and figure out what to do next. Shit, I'm too much of a mess to even think. I tried to peek at her face again. She still had the spray bottle in one hand. What I didn't expect was the thing in her other hand. How could I mistake it for anything else? It was definitely a syringe. When Rika realized I'd regained my eyesight, she pointed the spray bottle right at me and let loose with it. I shut my eyes tightly and tried to ignore the pain, but that was when, even though I was blinded, Rika made a miscalculation. She'd sprayed at me from such a close distance that she had inhaled some of the substance as well. I heard Rika sneeze and realized that it was my chance. Even if I couldn't see, I knew she was right there. I hit Rika's face a few times. When I felt Rika's weight shift, I escaped. I then got my stun gun ready. Rika must have inhaled just a little of the spray. She wasn't sneezing anymore and was glaring at me instead. Hey, hey, hey! Are you picking a fight with me? You want me to wreck you? Rika's expression didn't change, but I was sure she was disappointed that her surprise attack was a failure. Rika flinched just a little, but she was still holding the spray bottle and aiming it at my eyes. She was trying to use the spray first, and then give me the shot. I didn't know what was in that syringe, but it was a clear liquid. It had to be something bad. She wanted to take my eyesight, get on top of me, and then give me the shot. If whatever was in the syringe took a while to take effect, I might have the chance to fight back and seriously injure Rika. But Rika's surprise attack told me that just being infected was more than enough. In other words, whatever the effect, it would start to work immediately. Somehow you feel like this is going to be the thumbnail? Oh, it's almost like I always use a illustrated piece from the plot of the game I played. Anyway. Therefore, I wouldn't be able to fight back against her. It'd probably either knock me out or kill me. In any case, what I had was equally deadly. My stun gun was very powerful. Just one shot would be all it took. What happened before was proof of its power. Goddamn it, Serena. Rika knew my stun gun was a lot more powerful than her spray. She was being extremely cautious. Hey, what do you think you're doing in my house, huh? If you aren't moving, then I'll come to you! I threw a pile of newspapers at her. The pile wasn't tied together, so the newspapers flew all over Rika. I jumped at her immediately after. I shoved my stun gun into her and pulled the trigger. Rika spasmed and fell to the floor. You fool, hesitating in a fight where a single blow wins. Only amateurs just glare at each other. You don't have a single clue about how advantageous the first strike is when a single blow can decide everything. The spray bottle rolled on the ground, but she still had the syringe. Rika was down, but I couldn't let my guard down either. I kicked her in the side and clambered on top of her. I took the syringe. I held Rika's arm down and gave her the shot. My actions could hardly be called gentle. I injected her violently. I injected everything that was in the syringe. Rika began to convulse. I stood back and watched for what would happen to her body. Of course, I still had my guard up. While I assumed that the drug would incapacitate her immediately, I didn't know exactly what kind of reaction she would have. Look at you! Did you really think you could defeat me? Think again! After a few more convulsions, Rika unsteadily got to her feet. I feel like the stun gun wasn't a huge contribution. Did you see how old she was? It was inevitable. Yeah. That's ridiculous. How can she even stand? I looked at my stun gun. Damn it! The The power was on the lowest setting. Maybe it had been readjusted when we were rolling around on the floor. I changed the setting to maximum. Rika turned pale and started sweating all over. I didn't know its exact effects, but if Rika had given me the shot, I'd be the one experiencing her symptoms. She looked really sick, so obviously she must have been feeling awful too. She couldn't even focus. She was very wobbly and had her hand on the wall. She'd lost her balance, and it must have been hard for her to even stand. She didn't look so brave anymore. Rika wobbled some more and moaned as if she was about to throw up. Anya! Rika looked scary as she moaned and wobbled, but at the same time she looked kind of funny too. Certainly she hadn't even dreamed she'd be getting the shot herself. As the man sows, so shall he reap. That's what you get. This is funny, so funny! But please don't throw up here. Go to the bathroom, okay? I'm gonna enjoy how long it'll take for you to die. Oh, but that means I can't torture you later, huh? I've been planning to use the nail table on you. So either you choke on your own vomit and die, or I pound nails into all 10 of your fingers. I wonder which it'll be. Okay, I know. Let's move to the underground shrine storage. I'll put you to sleep so I can move you there, okay? I walked up to Rika, my stun gun making popping sounds. When Rika saw the sparks from the stun gun, she moved to grab a huge kitchen knife. Oh, are you still trying to fight? That makes things more fun. I have so much I want to ask you. I would suggest you back down. Well, actually, even if you do, you'll go through the same misery anyway. Sorry, but I'll refuse that information, you torture maniac. What she said wasn't anything I'd expect to hear from the Rika I knew. But I didn't hesitate. I had the advantage, so I didn't need to worry. Besides, this was coming from the last survivor of the Higurashi family, one of the 3 families. Makes me want to get possessed without looking. That sudden change somehow felt natural. Compared to what the 3 families have done, this is nothing. Thank you for that high praise, though. I should be proud of myself, huh? So? Are you seriously thinking about fighting me with a knife in that condition? You can't even stand straight. You're right. Like you said, I'm at my limit. But if that means getting captured and tortured to death by you, then sorry, I'm taking my leave. Taking your leave? Try it if you can! It was clear who held the advantage here. But despite that, an odd thrill filled both of us. We lost our minds wasn't a fitting phrase for the people of Hinamizawa. It was a feeling of release, when modern demons could stop pretending to be human. Yes, this was a mad banquet of demons, with the savoring of blood and devouring of flesh. Attended by the head of the Higurashi family and the head of the Sonozaki family, the old families whose blood is closest to the madness of the demons. I stood in front of the hallway so as to block her escape route. The windows had grates and the door had a safety chain on it. If she turned around, I'd hit her with my stun gun. In this situation, what did Rika Furude mean by taking her leave? Rika got her knife ready. I expected her to aim at my stomach when she attacked, so I took a stance with my stun gun ready in my hand. Rika, however, suddenly turned around. I carefully watched to see what her next move would be. Rika put the handle of the knife to the wall and held it in place. What was she doing? Goodbye, torture maniac. I won't give you the satisfaction of killing me. Oh, sorry. I won't give you the satisfaction of killing me. Rika reared her head back and slammed her throat against the knife on the wall. Her blood splattered all over. Rika bent backwards repeatedly and let the knife slash at her throat. Again and again. Her neck and chest were dyed red. I had always thought blood was darker, but her blood wasn't dark. It was so bright. I must have been confused, but it looked pretty. After doing this several times, Rika turned around. Her eyes were wide open. She didn't look like she was from this world. Her face looked like something both living and dead, both real and artificial. It was very scary, eerie, and above all else, pale. Although her face looked unearthly, it was a very appropriate face for a demon. I didn't have a mirror, so I couldn't tell, but I was sure I looked exactly like her. Hidika continued to violently slash her throat. It reminded me of someone trying to break a huge piece of ice with an ice pick. That was exactly what Hidika looked like. The white chips of ice coolly flying through the air. What I saw before me was a beautiful sight. Every time Hidika struck her throat, tiny drops of red blood splattered the boring white world around her. It was like a dance. A dedication dance by the final head of the Furude family. The demon's last dance of dedication to Oyashiro-sama. Upon seeing that literally blood-curdling dance, I let out a fierce roar. I had no reason to do so. I was howling like an animal. We were like animals trying to kill each other, both getting covered in blood. And inevitably, as one convulsed in a pool of that blood, the other threw back its head and howled. My body shivered with the joy I felt inside of me. This was death, the most final of judgments, and it was right before me. The demons howled, screamed, and roared. The roars faded, and my voice started to change from the voice of a demon back to that of a human. As a demon, I roared, but as a human, I sneered. Rika was covered in blood from her neck down. Her blood was pouring out, making a little noise. Ooh, that's my medicine alarm. Give me a second. She slams her neck into the knife. It's like the side of her neck in the anime. So I'd say the throat is valid. Anyway, yeah, this is a pretty well-known scene from the anime. Hidika was still staring into my eyes. I stared back at her. I wasn't sure they were still eyes, though. They were no longer human eyes, but the eyes of the dead. Hidika's corpse vomited blood from her mouth and nose and smiled. Then she dropped the knife. She stuck her hands out and turned her palms upwards. Her wriggling fingers reminded me of an insect's legs. Those fingers reached for her own throat. I'd never seen anything like it. I'd never seen anybody do this before, because Hidika was scratching her own throat. She was ripping her own throat apart. Maybe that wasn't a good description. She was trying to rip out the inside of her throat through the opening she'd made with the knife. Her fingers found the biggest tear. Hidika smiled. At least that's what I would have called it if she were alive. She ripped open the tear in one tug. Wah! Wah! Upon hearing my scream, Hidika died and fell on her face into the pool of blood. That was it. She didn't get up again to show me her throat. I stepped back from Hidika Furude's body and bumped into the wall in the hallway. Ah! I roared again in admiration of the ritual dance of dedication of the head of the Furude family. Joy ran through my body and my blood rushed through my veins. I won! I won! I defeated her! Ah! I then realized I'd disposed of the heads of the three families, the core of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Everything was finally exposed. The curse of Oyashiro-sama and its masterminds were all exposed. I disposed of the leaders of the three families, who all killed Satoshi-kun. The head of the Sonozaki family died of a heart attack. She was at the bottom of the well, along with a wheelchair. I apprehended the head of the Kimiyoshi family. He continued to tiptoe until he died. The head of the Furude family died in a way that was perfect for the final head of the three families of Onigafuchi. I did it. I accomplished my mission. I defeated all the masterminds who killed Satoshi-kun with their curse. Everyone! Satoshi-kun, you were powerless. You didn't have the means to fight back. Those evil people simply sneered while they let you die after marking you as a member of the cursed Hojo family. I will never, ever forgive them! They believed you deserved to die because you were one of the Hojos. As long as it was done by the curse of Oyashiro-sama, they didn't care how you were killed. I will never forgive those people for creating this world. What could I have done to save you, Satoshi-kun? I couldn't save you. Shion Sonozaki couldn't do anything else at the time. If I was Mion, not Shion. If I was Mion that day, I could have saved you. Mion could have saved you. Not That's right, I remember now. Shion! She said she wanted to eat red snapper sashimi that day. I was supposed to eat that, but Shion pouted and cried. That was why I let her switch, just for that night. I did it to make her happy, like a big sister would. Shion was never treated well, so I felt bad. That was it! I was being a good sister, that was it! When morning came, the world had been turned upside down, and it had remained so until today. We weren't twins anymore. The one with the demon was Mion, and the one without the demon was Shion. What was that supposed to mean? Wait, Mom, listen. I'm Mion, not her. You can tell us apart, right, Mom? Look, can't you tell I'm Mion? Come on, everyone. Tell me I'm Mion. I'm Mion. Don't call me Shion. I'm Mion, I am. Then I realized. You knew, didn't you, that the relatives weren't gathering for a simple party that night. You knew! No, I didn't. I really didn't know. Huh? How can you say that? You were so persistent that day. You said you'd never eaten red snapper before, so you really wanted to try it. You never gave up asking me. I really didn't know. I didn't know. If I had known, I wouldn't have said that. Oh, sure. You were always jealous of me, always looking at me with those foxy eyes. That was why I switched with you every once in a while. But you weren't satisfied with just that. You became even more jealous. And that night, you knew what was going on and took Mion from me. You took Mion from me. Give Mion back. I'm the one who's Mion. I am Mion Sonozaki! You were Shion this whole time! Don't call yourself Mion, you imposter! I kicked the bars of the cell repeatedly while I roared. Compared to my roar, the metallic noise of the bars sounded like the cry of a little puppy. I had been convinced by something so stupid. The tattoo of the demon was just a way of telling us apart. Even without that tattoo, I am Mion! That's right, I am Mion Sonozaki! I gathered my hair and put it into a ponytail with the yellow band that Mion used all the time. Since I didn't feel my hair on my neck, I felt like I could think more clearly now. Two Mions looked at each other through the iron bars. According to our sibling rules, that was never to happen. Yes, there was only one Mion and one Shion. There could never be two of either at the same time. Shion! Let your hair down! I am Mion, and Mion is here! You were never Mion! So don't pretend to be me ever again! Do you hear? I said, do you hear? If you do, answer me! Answer me, Shion! I took myself back on this day. Shion admitted she was Shion. How wonderful it is to be Mion. I feel great. I can think clearly now. Because after all, Mion is capable of anything. Unlike you, Shion. How dare you pretend to be Mion? Do you have any idea? Huh, Shion? Yes, sis. Shion called me sis. And so I was Mion. Ah! The demon who had been asleep deep inside of me was finally allowed to wake up. The demon roared and my whole body shivered to express its joy. Shion, you committed a great sin. You were Mion until now. You were in a powerful position as Mion of the Sonozaki family, yet you didn't even try to rescue Satoshi-kun! You had millions of chances to save him, but you chose not to do anything! I won't forgive you, I'll never forgive you. I could have saved Satoshi-kun! You took him from me and you killed him! I'll never forgive you for that! Shion was shaking on the other side of the bars. I will kill you. I'll kill you in the best possible way. Starting today, I'm going to think of the best, most gruesome way to kill you. Shion, you better spend every minute fearing what's coming to you. I won't just kill you. I'll make sure your death is long and miserable. And after you're dead, I'll throw you into the well. You better apologize to Satoshi-kun when you get there. This is what you get for pretending to be me! Do you hear me? That's your sin! Ah! needed to at least clean up the kitchen. While I was putting old newspapers on the floor to absorb the blood, the phone rang. I didn't want to answer, but maybe I should. I should answer it and talk to whoever it was. Hello, this is the Sonozaki residence. Thank you for answering. This is Hojo calling. I was surprised to hear the Hojo name, but I realized right away that it was Satoko. Oh, Satoko? What's the matter? Sorry to call so late. Is Rika not there with you? Ah, yes. Ever since Satoko Hojo was abandoned, she'd been living with Rika Furude. Of course she'd get suspicious that Rika hadn't returned yet. Ah, yeah, she's here. Oh, she's still there? It's long past dinner time. Hey, Satoko, I made too much dinner tonight, so I told Rika-chan to eat here with me. Eh? Is that so? Oh. Why don't you come over too? I have plenty of food left. Rika-chan has already started eating. City Morg Mion here, how can I help you? Oh, Rika. Alright, I'll clean up a little and then head out. See you shortly. Okay. I'll be here. See ya. Click. Spicy. Keiichi! I've been calling your name for a while. You have a phone call. It's from Sonozaki-san. Sonozaki-san? Which one? The older sister or the younger one? I don't know. Ask her yourself. Hello? Mion? Or is it Shion? Jumin's effective method of waking yourself up. Because of my fucking maniacal screaming. It's me, Shion. Good evening. Shion! Sorry about last night. I got all riled up. You must have been worried about how I hung up the phone so suddenly last night. We're tied to the same fate. Making sure the other is alright is the only way to guarantee our own safety. Yeah, I agree. We absolutely need to share whatever information we have, so that we don't die like Takano-san and Tomitake-san did. I heard Keiichi swallow loudly. Then, let's continue from where we left off. You'll listen without getting angry this time, right? Yeah, I'll be fine. Keiichi agreed to be quiet and listen. I explained the dangerous situation Keiichi was in once again. Just like how some evil people in the village attacked Takano-san and Tomitake-san, they might attack us any day. It was ironic, of course, that while I was warning him, I was also the one who made sure the curse would fall upon him. Let's report anything we notice that seems strange. If we connect all the tiny pieces that we have, then just maybe we'll find out who killed them. Or maybe even the truth behind the incidents of the past few years. You're right. You're right about that. Then I'll start, since I suggested it. I feel like somebody has been watching me lately. What? I was making this up. I just wanted him to realize how urgent the situation was. It might be my imagination, but I'll tell you anyway. I think it's just me, but if you feel like you're being watched too, Kei-chan, then maybe it's not just in my head. Well, don't worry. At the very least, everything's fine with me. It seemed like nothing had happened to Keiichi today, at least. Now that the heads of all the three families were gone, it was possible the curse system had been destroyed entirely. If that was the case, then Keiichi might not be attacked after all. But if there was someone who did want to attack him, that meant part of the system was still alive. In other words, my mission wouldn't be accomplished just yet. Keiichi is like a litmus test in this situation. I'd know whether or not all my enemies were gone, depending on if Keiichi got bitten. He sure is a very useful man. After that, I went along with what Keiichi said. I made sure he was fearful of Mion, as well as of all the three families. I explained to him the possibility that the whole village was involved, and that the curse of Oyashiro-sama might be some sort of system. Then I remembered Shion wouldn't know too much about the disappearance of the mare, so I continued. I just heard this myself. Is it true that Uncle Kimiyoshi went missing? You mean the mare? Wait, Shion, you haven't heard? I don't know anything! I just overheard my father talking about it on the phone again. If it was a different place, Shion would have made a great actress. Yeah. Actually, last night after the meeting, he didn't come home, so the whole village was in a panic. They searched all over Hinamizawa, but if they found him, then I haven't heard. The police should be searching for him as well. Why didn't you tell me something that important right away? Sorry, I thought you already knew. I didn't want to hide it or anything. Kei-chan, what should I do? What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hide it. It was just that, well, the conversation got turned around and... We're on the same side, right? I won't get mad, so just tell me. Uncle Kimiyoshi, I told him everything. Old man Kimiyoshi. He's someone you feel comfortable confiding in, Shion. Yes, he would... When I was little, he was really nice to me. All I did was play tricks on him, but he would always just smile. He listened to anything I had to say. He was such a kind person. Calm down, Shion. It's not like he's dead, right? Don't lose heart so easily. Keiichi tried to make me feel better, but he had no idea what was actually going on. Yeah, dumbass. It really made me laugh. That night, I told the mayor that we snuck into the ritual storehouse. Also that someone saw us and went out to get us. Does the mayor know how absurdly Takano-san and Tomitake-san died? Yes. He knew about it. I told him that they died by Oyashiro-sama's curse, and that I could be made a sacrifice to calm his anger. I just said it straight out. Right. What then? Uncle Kimiyoshi didn't get angry. He smiled, then told me that if I was remorseful about it, there was no way I'd be demoned away. He was really smiling, and he told me to leave it to him. I actually got a little sad while saying that. Uncle Kimiyoshi had been so reliable. I was happy when he said that he would protect Shion. I truly was happy. If only he hadn't said anything to insult Satoshi-kun. It's my fault. Because I confessed everything. Stop it, Shion. It's not your fault. No! It is my fault! I told him our secret! Uncle Kimiyoshi found out about everything. So, he had to have been killed. It was right after I confessed to him, after all. He disappeared the same night, and he told me everything was going to be alright. It was such a strange feeling. I wasn't upset at all. But as I pretended to be upset and mutter words of prayer for Kimiyoshi's safety, I started to feel that emotion growing inside me. I was only pretending to be distressed to fool Keiichi. Yet the emotion that I feigned began welling up inside me. It felt like I was being consumed by that emotion. So the words coming from my mouth weren't words I intentionally said. They were words that consuming emotion forced me to say. It was like someone else inside of me was doing the talking instead, and I was just watching that someone talk from a short distance away. I should never have told him! All of this should have only been our fault, only the four of us. It wasn't something I should have told someone else. He got killed because I told him. He got killed because he knew. He got killed because I confessed to him. Hey, stop. If they were doing that, then they would obviously have you killed before killing the mayor. It doesn't make sense. You or I should have been killed first. Why would other people die before us? It does make sense. They must be planning to kill us last of all. Huh? What? What? They start by killing those we're close to, and after they've caused us so much pain, then they'll kill us. That must be what they're doing. What I just said scared even me. Killing our loved ones first to harm us emotionally, and only then kill us at the height of our suffering. Whoa, I felt something crawling up my spine. That's awesome. It's an awesome idea. I must not be human anymore. I really am a demon. A human could never think of such cruel things. That would be one incredible hell. Your close friends dying one at a time after being tortured. And after all that, you yourself get killed. What a great way to destroy someone's life. Why was I getting so excited about this? Because I could get going with that plan right away. Rika-chan! It's Rika-chan! What? What did you say just now? Well, the truth is, I told her about it. I told Rika-chan today. Rika-chan? You mean Rika-chama? The one from the Furude Shrine? Yes, Rika-chan. I felt so scared and uneasy that I did it. I told Rika-chan. When you did, what did she say? The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. That's what Rika-chan said. I'm sorry, Shion. I'm a bit worried about Rika-chan. Alright, if you're that concerned, then don't worry about me. Please, go find out whether she's safe. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll call you again tomorrow at the same time. When I do, you'll know I'm still alright. I got it. I'll be waiting. Okay, bye. Sorry, I'm hanging up. Keiichi hung up roughly. What a hilarious conversation with Keiichi. Everything was just too damn funny. Keiichi Maebara, go ahead and struggle helplessly. Run all over the village and see if the curse is still alive. Go ahead and see if my enemies are still around. I laughed for a while and then calmed down. I'd already got rid of the bicycles and shoes belonging to Rika and Satoko. My house was, for the moment, taken care of. I could expect Keiichi to run around in a panic, to ask for help from someone, and then ultimately come to Mion. More than likely, the youth group would end up looking for Rika like they did with the mare. I'd probably have to endure another long night again, knowing nobody would find her. I decided to wait until the phone rang. I killed time by watching TV until it did. Kei-chan, are you serious? I'm going to get really mad if this is a joke. I scolded Keiichi for suspecting that Rika had disappeared. Mi-chan, if it really is a joke, don't get mad. Smile. It would be a joke after all. We need to go to make sure whether it's a joke or not. You're right. Sorry for getting upset. Hanana rebuked me. While she looked quiet, I felt that she could be very terrifying under her skin. I had no basis for that impression, but I still felt that way. I just didn't like her. I disliked her ever since that rainy day at the bus stop. Did you miss what happened to Satoko? It was not shown. Apparently, we dealt with her somehow. But, it faded to black, so... It wasn't that we didn't get along, though. How should I put it? I was at a loss for how to explain. That was it. I found a good example. When I was little, I always wanted to play tennis. I had my relatives take me to a tennis court, and they all praised my skill. I was doing nothing more than hitting a ball with a racket, but they told me I was talented, and that made me happy. When I went to school, I told my classmates I played tennis, and they told me that I was talented too. Then, one of my classmates, who was usually very quiet, said she also played tennis. Not only did she play, but she took lessons. Although I bragged about my serve, I was no match for her. I felt lonely and insulted that everyone was paying attention to her and not me. She was usually very quiet, but suddenly I realized that she knew more and had a lot more experience than me. Then at the bus stop was just like that. I thought of myself as a demon now. I'd awakened a part of me that was half human and half demon, the part that lived in Onigafuchi village. In fact, I'd already stepped into a world where normal humans couldn't go. I'd already surpassed my human limits. I genuinely thought of myself as a superior being, having transcended the realm of mortals. But when my eyes met with Rena Ryugu's, I felt what I did long ago with tennis. Why? Why did I feel that way with Rena? I'd heard that in the animal world, during battle, animals glare at each other to display their strength. Only humans have to punch or kick each other to feel superiority or inferiority. We'll just say she was grabbed by the ghoulies. Makes not as much sense as some other things going on. Most animals can tell just by glaring at each other. In that case, could it be the same with Rena? Mi-chan, are you okay? Yeah, sorry. I haven't slept since yesterday, you know. Sorry. Keiichi climbed up a ladder and tried to peek into the window on the second floor where Rika and Satoko lived. It was my job to hold down the ladder. Rena cautioned me to hold onto it tightly. Mi-chan, I'm going to go check the main house just to be sure, okay? That was sketchy. I'll be right back. Okay. Be careful. Rena ran off after that. When I looked up, I... Okay, apparently my connection dropped. I am not sure why that happened. I assume you guys can hear me now? Notification. It's like I never left? That's weird. Alright. Keiichi asked me from the top of the ladder. It's the Huride family's actual house. After her parents passed away, I think it's been left like that. Right. Rika-chan's parents, they passed away, huh? Satoko's also an orphan. Her parents fell from a cliff because of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Then her older brother, Satoshi-kun, he disappeared. Satoshi. I've heard that name before. You'd heard the name before? I felt anger growing inside of me. Don't you know whose desk you're using every day? You act as if it belongs to you. You drop food on it while eating lunch. You drool on it while taking a nap. Don't you know who it really belongs to? Why am I acting this way? I'm Mion. Satoshi-kun doesn't even exist anymore. He was demoned away. It's hardly Keiichi's fault that he didn't know. It really isn't his fault. Satoko and Rika-chan have been living in the shack ever since. Neither of them has any family, but at least they're together. They help each other out. Didn't Rena say there was a main house? Wouldn't it be easier to live there? I think she tried that at first. She said it was hard though because it reminded her of her parents. After everyone in Satoko's family died, she started living with Rika. It only made sense. Satoko and Rika were best friends. They didn't care about the Hojo family or the Huride family. They had been best friends since before the damn conflict. That was like a jump cut, I see. The reason why the curse never fell upon Satoko, Rika Huride probably had a lot to do with it. That made more sense than anything else, at least. Satoko was pardoned from the curse of the Hojo family, all thanks to Rika Huride's arrangements. Satoko had never been a victim on the night of Watanagashi. According to the curse system I'd uncovered, the last survivor of the Hojo family still living in Hinamizawa would be the perfect target for this year's curse. Therefore, whoever was responsible for executing the curse must have tried to take her life. However, nothing happened to her, proving that Satoko had escaped from the curse. That was really and truly infuriating. She might have been the head of the Huride family, but I still couldn't accept that such a little girl had enough power to protect her best friend. Mion. No, actually Shion. Shion must have had the same power then! Just like Rika protected Satoko. Shion could have protected Satoshi! Damn it, damn it! Rika-chan and Satoko-chan. They have it hard, huh? She's cursed. Huh? Mion, what did you just say? I said she's cursed! Mion, why are you making that face? Satoko Hojo. She's been cursed by Oyashiro-sama. I can't accept that Satoko was pardoned from the curse, although she was a member of the cursed Hojo family. She was one of the cursed Hojos! Satoshi-kun wasn't pardoned, but Satoko was! She was cursed, but she got away! She escaped the curse, but Satoshi-kun didn't! I can't accept that. In fact, Satoko should have been the one to be cursed the most. She cornered Satoshi-kun physically and emotionally. That was why things got weirder and weirder, and in the end everything went crazy. When I think back on it, it was Satoko who I hated most of all. She cornered Satoshi-kun. And as a result, Satoshi-kun disappeared. I have no idea what those asterisks are supposed to be. She started it. She caused it. If only she hadn't been there. Just as Rika Furude and Satoko had lived happily, maybe there had been a happy future for me too. Maybe Satoshi-kun and I could have started our lives together in Okinomiya. Yes, if I look at both the beginning and the end, it's so obvious. Satoko's existence caused everything. Satoshi-kun had to kill his aunt because of Satoko. The three families used that need to create the curse, and then they killed him. The police were convinced he just ran away, but he'd never do that. He was the type of person who always did his best at everything, all by himself. He was doing the very best he could for his only sister, yet he was forced to vanish. He worked so hard for Satoko, and though he was living just for her, he was erased. Poor Satoshi-kun. He was so underappreciated. That girl knew no gratitude. She was cursed. If you got near her, you'd meet the same fate. You'd be cursed to die or disappear. That really was it. She was the main cause behind it all. She wormed her way into Rika Furude's good graces, and that was why the curse fell upon Satoshi-kun. She should have died first. Then Satoshi-kun would be still alive. If he was alive, I could have done something for him. I can't forgive her. I can't forgive Satoko. I can't forgive that girl. There could be no peace with her. There could be no peace. She was the perfect target for the curse of 1983. The curse of Oyashiro-sama. Rika Furude, the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Rika was dead. The reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama had died. There was no more god in Hinamizawa to deliver the curse. I'm the one who has to deliver it now. I am Mion Sonozaki, the head of the Sonozaki family, one of the three families of Onigafuchi. Now that all the heads of the three families are gone, there's nobody to surpass me. I will deliver the curse of Oyashiro-sama, and nobody else! I'll deliver it. I am the curse. I have become Oyashiro-sama! I felt hot bubbles boiling over deep inside of me. I could tell the demon inside of me wanted to roar. I noticed Keiichi was looking down at me. Calm down, Mion. You can't tell what you're thinking. Calm down, calm down. At that point, I heard footsteps coming closer. I saw 4 or 5 adults, accompanied by Rena, running towards us with flashlights in their hands. One of them opened the lock on the cabin door, and we all went inside. Of course, there was nobody there. Satoko and Rika lived alone. I doubted Satoko would have left a note saying she was going over to the Sonozaki house when Rika was there already. Fuck, she did the demon way of 87. God, I really fucking hate how my hands get so dry in the winter. I have cream, and I put cream on them earlier. Actually, I'm running out, to be fair. I need to get more. Let me put some more on me. I could squeeze more out of this stupid thing. Come on. Oh, come on. I need more hand cream. Because I'm bleeding. I think that's the last I'm going to be able to get out of there. I think I might go shopping tomorrow, so I guess I could get some then. Sorry, I need to put cream on my hands. Especially bad on my knuckles and the sides of my hands. Lotion and gloves? Oh, I mean, I'm inside. Like, I'm not even going outside, and it still gets dry. Just from the, I don't know what you call it. The air is really dry. There's no moisture. There's no humidity to keep my skin moisturized naturally. So I've got to moisturize it myself. Low hanging choke about choking the chicken. Hey. At least my hands are the only part that gets dry. And my lips. Should get some Vaseline or something I can put on my lips. Anyway, sorry about that. But it wouldn't be fun if she had. Because of that, I heard... Oh god, the cream's still on my hands. It's getting on my mouse. Give me a second. Can I rub this into... Yeah, there you go. Just get it dry enough to not sticky up the mouse. Okay. Because of that, I hurried into the room ahead of Rena to make sure there was nothing left behind. The rumor of Rika and Satoko's disappearance spread around the village quickly. More and more villagers gathered at the Huride shrine. Acting in place of the head of the Sonozaki family, I commanded them to search the village. The villagers nodded and scattered. This is a family-friendly stream about brutal murder and torture. Exactly. How long had it been since the last time I was truly Mion? I felt so pleased that my body almost went numb. Lots of villagers went in and out of the shrine. They yelled at each other that she was nowhere to be found. Some suggested other places to look, and they all left. They made a lot of noise with their comings and goings. Members of the Women's Association brought out huge pots and gas cookers from the storage, and got ready to cook for the men. That was when I noticed Keiichi unsteadily walking towards a copse of dark pine trees. What was he thinking? How stupid of him to be alone on a night like this. If a person responsible for executing the curse was nearby, he wouldn't come back safely. Mion-chan, we went all around Ojaga Lake, but didn't find anything. We tried to light up the pond, but we're gonna have to wait until the sun is up. Okay, thanks for your hard work. The women are making some miso soup, so please rest up and have some. Mion-chan, do you know where they usually park their bicycles? No, they probably park them at the bottom of the stairs leading up here. I don't think they'd come up while carrying them. We can't find their bicycles. Where did they go? If they left on their bikes, they could have gone pretty far. Maybe even as far as the town. In that case, we'll have to look outside of Hinamizawa. By the way, who first noticed that Rika-chama was gone? It was Kei-chan. He suddenly had a hunch. Oh, that Maebara kid, huh? He's a little suspicious. Speaking of which, why hasn't the Maebara family shown up when we're in a crisis like this? The Maebara still haven't joined the town council, so they're not in the youth group's phone directory. Really? Well, ain't no helping it then. Huh? They joined, didn't they? I think it's just that their name isn't in the directory yet. The last time we updated it was at the beginning of the year. They just moved here, so that's why they aren't on it. That Maebara kid's hunch is still suspicious. They do say the first one on the scene is the most suspicious. Where did he go? I saw him walking toward the pine trees. Can someone go get him? Conveniently, I saw Keiichi and Rena walking back toward us. Kei-chan, where did you go? I was worried you'd disappeared too. Sorry. It looked like nothing had happened to Keiichi. If so, that's fine. That means I took care of all my enemies. Oh, my. I knew I smelled something good coming from over here. It's your favorite character, Daisy. I'd be much obliged if you'd allow me to have some. I heard the loud, sticky voice of a middle-aged man. It was Oishi. He must be confused about this year's incident. The scale of the curse this time is nothing like the previous ones. Oishi's information network is about equal to or better than the elders on the town council. In other words, he could easily uncover a rumor that was circulating through the underside of the village. He must have came here to see if the disappearances of Kimiyoshi and Rika had something to do with the changing of the lock on the ritual storehouse's door. The police will come for me sooner or later. I am Mion Sonozaki. By removing all of the heads of the three families, my enemies, I have become the head in their place. I can't allow Mion Sonozaki to continue existing. I'll have to destroy the existence of the head of the Sonozaki family. When I destroy my own position, that is when my revenge will come to an end. More than likely, I'll have Oishi witness my final moments. Distracted by the smell of Keiichi's pits? Get out of here. Is that a reference to, like, the holes he was digging, or are you just being weird? My eyes, I mean, you're being weird either way. Anyway, my eyes and Oishi's met. Damn it, he thinks I'm suspicious already. You're right, Oishi. I did it. Mion Sonozaki, the head of the Sonozaki family, is the culprit. Meh. Got some new tips. Achievement unlocked. The path to hell. Let's view the new tips. Notebook, page 195. Rika Furude. She was the head of the Furude family, but she never even appeared at the most important meetings. Even if she did show up, nobody would ask for her opinion, so it never really mattered if she was there or not. A legend in the Furude family says that if their firstborn child is a girl for 8 generations in a row, that 8th girl would be the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. According to Takano-san's research, Rika Furude is very likely to be the one. Surely she must be an important icon in the cult of Oyashiro-sama. The true believers are devoted to her. So it's quite surprising to me that Rika Furude herself was the assassin. It's unbelievable. It's just too abnormal. Usually a VIP like her wouldn't be the one to assassinate someone. It's possible that it was a Rika Furude look-alike. From the way she moved, she seemed experienced in fighting. It's not normal that a small girl like her would jump me without faltering. I just got lucky because I had a stun gun. Without it, I don't know what would have happened. She was far more skilled than she looked. Was she trained as an assassin? Or was it a body double? Everything is a mystery, including that creepy syringe. What's going on? I can't understand. She was like an apparition or something. Wario apparition? Did Oryo Sonozaki know of her existence? What's hiding on the underside of this village? I don't know, I should have off now, but fair enough. That underside might run much deeper than I thought. At this point, I believe that I can complete my revenge by destroying the curse system entirely. That means that I have to eliminate the heads of all the 3 families, the successor Shion, and the assassins who are after Keiichi. Although Keiichi is completely unguarded, he hasn't been attacked so far, even though I told everybody that he was one of the trespassers. In fact, it's me who's being attacked. Rika Furude attacked me. Higurashi's business. According to my theory, Keiichi should make for very attractive bait, but nobody has done anything to harm him. Since Rika Furude attacked me, it might be that opposing the Furude family is a greater taboo than trespassing in the ritual storehouse. Rika Furude had said that intrusion wasn't a big deal. She sounded like she was going to let Keiichi walk. And after I accused her of that, Rika Furude attacked me that very night. Are there 2 different factions? Does one handle trespassers in the ritual storehouse while the other protects the religious doctrines of the Furude family? No, that doesn't make any sense. Tomitake-san's death must have been caused by the Furude family's injections. Rika showed me the effect of it herself, clawing out her own throat and dying like that. But Tomitake-san shouldn't have been subject to the curse, at least according to the system of the Furude family. I don't understand why Keiichi hasn't been attacked. Did he have something exempting him from the curse, unlike Takano-san? Just like how only Satoko Hojo was spared? Keiichi is a friend of Rika Furude's. So does that mean if you were close to her, you wouldn't be cursed? Was she more important than the whole system? That's impossible. The hag was at the top of the curse system. Rika couldn't have been higher up than her. Because your stupid idea of making a mod that plays the damage sound from Ape Escape every time you click something. That would be good. Scribble, scribble. Are there multiple ways to determine the subject of the curse? Are there as many curse execution groups as there are subjects, and do they all work separately? I don't understand whatever you just referenced, Sketch. It's a mess. None of my theories add up. If I mess up my reasoning, I might make the wrong person the target of my revenge. I don't understand who the enemy is or how Satoshi-kun was made to disappear. How much did the hag know? That really was a huge loss. I have so many things I wanted to ask her. I killed her by accident. Shit. In that respect, I've already failed at my revenge. The underside of Hinamizawa really does run too deep. Scribble, scribble. The whole page is blacked out with scribbles. Whew. Well, I think I'm gonna do at least one more. Lecherous ape escape noise, yes. So let's save. And then I'm also gonna take a quick bathroom break, so be right back. Sketch, I've seen way more cursed comments. You're gonna have to try harder than that. Okay. Pardon me. Anyway, let's continue. Hey everyone, are you all still alive? Kimiyoshi was hanging from the collar with his head turned up to the ceiling. He didn't even move when I walked in. Maybe he's already dead. Satoko was lying on a cross-shaped restraining table. She glared at me with red and swollen eyes, which must have been that way from crying. I wanted to put her on that special restraining table to pound nails into her hands, but Satoko was too small for that. I walked up to Kimiyoshi and poked his body with my toe. There was no response. Uncle Kimiyoshi, are you dead? Murderer! Murderer! Maybe Satoko had witnessed Kimiyoshi's last moments. I took a thick knife from the wall and stabbed Kimiyoshi with it. There was no response. You didn't want to try hard to gross out the audience. You could think of way what I see. Uncle Kimiyoshi, if you're alive, you better tell me, okay? You can't fool me. I walked over to the pulley that was suspending Kimiyoshi. This is your last chance. Are you alive? Let me know if you are. I paused just for a moment, then turned the pulley. Kimiyoshi's body swayed strangely in the air. It looked much more like a corpse like that. Shion-san, why are you doing this? Ah, I get it. The door to the huge cave was still open. I bet Satoko had talked to the one in the cell while I was gone. That's how she knows my name. Although that's actually not my name at all. No, I'm not Shion. I'm the real Mion. The one you all thought was Mion is Shion. It's kind of confusing, huh? If you don't get it, that's okay. How dare you? How dare you kill Rika? I had allowed Satoko to watch me take care of Rika's body. Of course, I let her see Rika's neck, too. Rika Furude deserved it. She came over to kill me. I just fought back, that's all. That's not possible! Rika would never do a thing like that. Never do a thing like that. If you don't believe me, that's fine. It's none of your business anyway. What are you going to do with me? I'm going to kill you. Satoko's eyes went wide. She was expecting my answer, I'm sure, but she still looked shocked. I bet she didn't expect me to state it so openly. I heard the noise of something hitting iron bars echoing in the huge cave. Shion's voice echoed there as well. Sis, no! Don't kill Satoko! I answered her clearly. Did you finally realize what you've done? Did you finally realize you didn't do anything to save Satoshi-kun, although you had the power to? That's why he was killed! So this is not a flashback. I'm pretty sure she just tied up Satoko and left her there, and now, I think they just didn't want to dedicate a whole scene to knocking out Satoko and taking her, is all it was. You ignore millions of chances to rescue Satoshi-kun! Yes, that is your sin! Before even finishing my sentence, I stabbed Satoko's right arm. Her blood started to flow out. This is nothing compared to what happened to Rika Furude. I twisted the knife into Satoko's arm. She bit down hard, crying. Stop! Don't kill Satoko! Let her go! I don't care what you do to me, but please let Satoko go! Why couldn't you say that for Satoshi-kun? It's too late now! I was the one screaming like you back then, but no matter how loudly I screamed, it never reached them, spared him, or saved him. I want you to go through the same thing I did. I stabbed Satoko's arm repeatedly, but the knife kept hitting her bone. It didn't feel like I was cutting any of her flesh. Stop, Mion! Stop, sis! Stop! 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 Okay, Shion. How about this? I'll tell you how you can save Satoko. Apologize to me 1,000 times. I'll let her go when you're done. How about that? I don't tell lies. If you really apologize 1,000 times, I'll keep my promise. We can show a 5-minute long scene of Rika ripping out her own esophagus, but not how Satoko ended up in gay baby chair. Yeah, I don't know. It is a little weird, I'll admit, but I guess I wanted to focus all the attention to this scene. Well, how about that? I'm sorry, 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 I'm sorry. Shion started to apologize like a broken record. She's just so stupid and honest. She's not even thinking of cheating. I bet Shion really will count to 1,000. I stabbed Satoko in the wrist. There, I felt something hard. I guess I either crushed her bone or scraped it. It must have been extremely painful for her. Satoko screamed. Shion's voice got louder as if trying to overpower the scream. All you ever do is cry to get what you want. You think your Nini is going to appear out of nowhere and knock me aside and rescue you? Huh? Yeah, right. The knife was still in Satoko's wrist. I slid it toward her elbow. Satoko, can you hear me? Hey, listen to me! I slapped her face several times and made her look at me. Do you know what you've done? Do you know how your very existence is what cornered Satoshi-kun? That's right. That's all you did to him. Every time you cried, Satoshi-kun protected you. But have you ever even considered what kind of a burden you were to him? He wasn't some superhero. He was just like you! He was just a normal human being! Have you ever even thought of what he had to go through because of you? No, you didn't. You had never even tried! You just let Satoshi-kun take care of you. You just leeched off of him. And as he got injured for your sake, you lived by sucking his blood. You are cursed. How can you still call for him? Huh? You're now going to pay for your sin. With my help. Cry as much as you want. Scream as much as you want. And realize Satoshi-kun will never come for you. You cornered him. You made him disappear. You killed him! Ha! Ha! After telling her all I'd been wanting to, I exhaled roughly. What's this? You don't feel anything in your right arm anymore? Okay, then let's use your left. I stabbed her left arm repeatedly and her blood flowed out. But Satoko's reactions weren't fun anymore. She didn't cry or scream like she did before. That put me in a bad mood, so I stabbed the back of her left hand and twisted the knife again. But Satoko still just moaned. She didn't scream anymore. What's the matter? Are you stifling your screams in protest, thinking that I was enjoying your cries? That's great! Satoko was unfazed by my mad laughter. She looked at me with gritted teeth and resignation. Yes, I think that's the truth. Huh? I cornered Nini. That's why he disappeared. I've known that ever since the day he vanished. I wasn't strong enough. I depended on Nini. And sure, it was hard on him too. But I couldn't stop. You are absolutely right about that. I have no excuse. Satoko didn't sound as if she was mocking me or trying to please me. She spoke so naturally. That's interesting. I never realized you were aware of what you'd done. Nini is coming back. He'll come back someday. And when he does, I'm gonna show him how independent I've become. I don't need him anymore. I won't hide behind him anymore. I'm going to show him that I really can live on my own. When he comes back, huh? I stabbed Satoko's arm in a mad frenzy, but she still didn't even scream. She bit down tightly and swallowed her pain instead. Nini is coming back. I know he is. I'm waiting for him. And when he comes back, I will apologize for depending on him so much. So I won't give up until that day comes. I'll never depend on him again, ever. No matter what kind of hardships I have to endure, I won't ask him to help me. I won't call for help. I won't cry. I won't scream. If I cry, Nini will come for me. So I'm going to endure this by myself. Damn you. What do you think you're saying? If it's fun for you, go ahead. Stab me as much as you please. But if you think I'm going to cry for Nini, well, too bad. I will not cry. Ever! If you refuse to believe me, then try it. Nini is watching me. He's watching me endure this. He'll see that I'm not like I was before. And when he sees that, he's gonna come back. Come on, try it. I will not cry. Try to see how strong Satoko Hojo is. Shit. I'll show her. Take that, and that, and that. Nini, you're watching me, right? I've become so strong. This won't bring me down. This is nothing. This won't make me cry. I won't cry for your help. I can endure this. I'm going to endure this. This is nothing compared to what you had to go through for me. Shit. Why doesn't she feel the pain? Doesn't it hurt? There's no way it doesn't. I've been stabbing her so much and the knife went in so deep. Her blood has poured to the ground and I've been turning her flesh inside out. How could she still talk that way? Why doesn't she cry and scream? After Satoko said what she wanted to say, she shut her mouth. She didn't say a single word after that. No matter how much I stabbed her, twisted the knife, tore at her, and ripped out her flesh, she didn't even make a sound. What in the world is this? This isn't the Satoko I know. Satoko is never as strong as this. If Satoko was this strong, she wouldn't have been a burden to Satoshi-kun. Why wasn't she as strong before? It's too late. Everything is too late. This idiot's maturity came far too late! Her blood made my hands slippery and I dropped the knife. I was covered in blood from head to toe. Satoko was still enduring the pain. She was enduring this cruelty so she could display her strength. I couldn't defeat Satoko. I couldn't crush her strength. Satoko had achieved her goal. She had become independent, so she didn't need Satoshi-kun anymore. She still believes Satoshi-kun will come back one day. She looks forward to a day where she can show her brother how strong she'd become. But Satoshi-kun hasn't seen any of that. Instead, I, who never even thought that Satoshi-kun would come back, was the one who witnessed her strength. What was I thinking? I thought Satoshi-kun was dead. No, I assumed he was. Why did I? I never even thought of waiting for him. I didn't believe he would come back. I didn't wait. I tried to avenge him, but I guess what I really did was forget about him. Satoko is different. She never even thought he was dead. No, maybe she did a little, but even so, she waited. She waited for a day where she could show him how much she'd grown. She waited patiently. What about me? I didn't do anything. I wanted to forget about my sadness, so I tried to find my enemy. I became a demon using revenge as an excuse, so that I didn't have to think like a human. I lost. I couldn't endure the pain of waiting for Satoshi-kun, so I chose to become a demon. In other words, I got rid of my soul, the soul that loved Satoshi-kun. In other words, I got rid of Satoshi-kun himself. Satoko won. While she had been gritting her teeth before, her mouth had gone slack. Her eyelids were half shut, but I could see her eyes a little. They looked like she was dreaming about something happy. Satoshi-kun was there, in her eyes. Satoko endured until Satoshi-kun came for her. Satoko ran up to Satoshi-kun. She jumped onto him. Satoshi-kun hugged her, and they spun around. You can cry now. Satoshi-kun told Satoko that, and she cried very hard. Satoshi-kun rubbed her head so gently. We'll be together forever, he said, and continued to rub her head so gently. So gently. Satoshi-kun, I was waiting for you too. What meaningless words. He was already dead inside of me. I never believed in our reunion. How pitiful of me to say that, just because I saw Satoshi-kun and Satoko and Satoshi-kun together again. As Satoshi-kun hugged Satoko, his eyes met mine. Shion, Satoshi-kun said. I asked you a favor. What favor? I tried to remember. What kind of favor did Satoshi-kun ask me? Satoshi-kun looked at me so sadly, because I couldn't remember. That sad look tore my heart to shreds. The blood flowing out from me wasn't as pretty as Satoko's blood. My blood was a slimy liquid, like vomit with filthy chunks of food in it. That was what filled my body. Whether it's a real curse or somebody's conspiracy, I won't disappear, and I won't fall victim to it. You won't disappear? No, not until I buy that teddy bear. I'll get the money pretty soon. I won't go anywhere until then. Huh? A memory of the past? But when? Ah, of course. This is a memory of the day before last year's Watanagashi. Satoshi-kun called me on the phone then. My aunt is home. I have to go. Okay. Mion. Huh? His aunt was home, so I'm sure he wanted to hang up as quickly as possible. Satoshi-kun paused and spoke. I'll leave Satoko to you. My knees and elbows started to shake. My teeth chattered and my fingers were shivering. Satoshi-kun asked me to. What have I done? I couldn't wait for Satoshi-kun to come back, so I filled myself with evil thoughts and acted as I pleased. I didn't believe he'd ever return. I even forgot about Satoshi-kun's last request. How can I say that I love him? I just wanted to forget about my feelings of loss, so I made myself all bloody. How can I welcome him back now? I didn't believe Satoshi-kun would come back. I didn't believe Satoshi-kun was alive. I didn't think he was alive, so I thought he was dead. I believed in his death. I killed him and myself. Nobody else did. I did that. But Satoko believed until the very end. She was rewarded in her final moments. Satoko wasn't here anymore. She had no more need for her bloody, painful shell. But I'm still here. Trapped in my bloody, tainted flesh. I'm gonna rot inside of it. Satoshi-kun was waiting for both Satoko and me. But to be reunited with Satoshi-kun, we had to keep our promises. Satoko's promise was to be strong. Satoko kept that promise until the bitter end. And Satoshi-kun embraced her. My promise was to take care of Satoko for Satoshi-kun. I never kept the promise from the beginning. Therefore, Satoshi-kun will never embrace me. Even if I were to throw up Satoko's wounds and ask her if they hurt, that wouldn't mean anything. That was when I felt something behind me. It wasn't Satoshi-kun or the thing that scared me before. I didn't know who it was, but it was right there, criticizing me for my mistakes. Then, I finally realized it. That thing is me. I had always been there, standing behind myself and watching me break that promise. Satoshi-kun asked me to take care of Satoko, yet I didn't keep that promise. I'd been watching that happen. I cried and gave up on myself. Wait, Satoshi-kun gave up on me, and I gave up on myself. What will happen to me now? I don't want to be in this darkness. I don't want to be all bloody. Please don't leave me. If I give up on myself, what will happen to my body? There will be nothing left. The only thing I'll have left in me is an evil demon. I get it. I've known it for a long time now. I am nothing but a demon. A demon doesn't feel sad. A demon's heart can never be in pain. A demon doesn't cry. Shion was still apologizing. She believed that was the only way for her to save Satoko. Her voice was growing hoarse and weak. Shion! You don't need to count anymore! Good job! I guess she realized what happened to Satoko. Shion cried in her cell. Being a demon isn't that bad, huh? I never knew how fun it would be to see other people cry and scream. By the way, I just want to add a little note here that in the anime, when Shion like has her little breakdown there where she realizes that oops, I told him that I would look after her sister, but I actually tortured her to death instead. Oops. When that happens, she fucking pisses herself. It's not like showing like graphic fetishistic detail or anything. This isn't Elfen Lied, but it happens. I don't know why. Anyway. I've already had plenty of fun in this human world. Maybe soon I'll kill myself and go back to hell. But don't worry, I'll make sure I kill you first. That's why I'm here, after all. Demons are pleased when they see people cry and grieve, see? Wait, you like Kei-chan, don't you? Okay, I'll rip Kei-chan apart before your eyes. What a great idea. I'll kill you and then myself after that. Onigafuchi Village is a village of demons. Demons came out from the swamp and attacked the village. I'm gonna act like those legendary demons and wait for Oyashiro-sama to judge me. That'll be a suitable disaster for Hinamizawa, don't you think? Kei-chan. It's me. It's Shion. You took a long time to pick up. I thought you weren't home and I was about to hang up. Sorry. I was just in the bath. Wouldn't your family pick up for you? Could your parents be out right now, Kei-chan? Well, no, they're not really... anyway, have you heard about Hiko-chan and Satoko? No. What happened after that? Were they found? Nah, they haven't found them yet. Kei-chan, please don't lose hope. Riko-chan and Satoko, they were kidnapped, weren't they? Yes, I don't think there's much doubt. Riko-chan and Satoko were... no, I mean... I'm sorry. About the mayor. What do you think happened after he was kidnapped? Do you think he's still alive? Keiichi sounded confused. He wanted to believe Satoko and Rika were still alive, which is why he was asking. Keiichi was just like Satoko. Unless the culprit was after money, the abductee would usually get killed right away. I'd never assumed they'd still be alive. But Keiichi was trying to hold on to a little hope. I could feel his strength. Being a writer of gods and deities, do you think Shion here is selling herself a little highly? I don't think a demon lord's really gonna care. Care about what? Also, I mean, she's gone completely insane, so it's not like she's basing this on any real logic. Like, I'm pretty sure she's just on a, you know, what do you call it? Some kind of emotional high where she's just, making shit up to try to explain how she's feeling and what she's doing. I don't know. I don't know much about insanity and delusion, so it was much greater than mine. I am a demon, so I didn't come up with an excuse. I think he was killed. Hey, wait, that was abrupt. I think it must be really hard to kidnap someone and keep them like they are. As long as they're not hostages, it would be most practical to kill them once you were done with them. Kill them so readily? I mean, what's a human life or two, anyway? It's a horrible thing, but that's probably what happened. Just thinking of the irony. If the mayor was killed, then did that mean the same had happened to Rika-chan and Satoko? No, that couldn't. They weren't some random old man. It was Rika-chan. It was Satoko. They couldn't kill them so easily. Keiichi was still refusing to believe what I said. He fought so hard because he didn't want to kill his friends within him. I wasn't like that. I killed Satoshi-kun within me so easily. I blamed Shion for not protecting Satoshi-kun, but I killed him so easily. It's probably better to think that Rika-chan and Satoko-chan ended up the same way. I can't do that. I don't have it in me right now, man. There you go, you can hear Keiichi's VA. Keiichi roared and cried. It was like their deaths were physically agonizing to him. Why? Why kidnap someone and then kill them? Screw curses! Are people's lives really that cheap? Erasing them and killing them without a second thought like this? I need a drink, Jesus Christ. You're right. You're absolutely right. It would take a demon. I laughed at myself. I was sure Keiichi didn't notice. Hey, Shion. Please tell me. Why did Hinamizawa start needing someone to die on the night of Watanagashi? That's what I'd like to know. The fighting over the dam project is already over and done with. Haven't enough people been cursed already? Why is it? Why? If there's a reason, then say it now! I understand how you feel, Kei-chan, I really do. The dam conflict ended a long time ago. Yet murders and disappearances keep happening every year under the guise of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Why? Why is it happening? Some of them had nothing to do with it, and some of them didn't deserve to be cursed, so why? Why? That's what I'm asking you! I want to know that as much as anyone! Of course, the curse of Oyashiro-sama never existed. It was just a bizarre environment that allowed people to kill in the name of Oyashiro-sama. The environment, and nothing more. Nothing would have happened unless there were demons who danced within it. Listen, Oyashiro-sama's curse never existed. It's too unrealistic. Just like you said, someone in the village is using the guise of Oyashiro-sama's curse as a justification for continuing these murders and disappearances every Watanagashi. They were cunning. They've been using the curse as a convenient tool and made a system where they would get rid of 2 enemies in the village every year. And this year, that system killed Takano-san and Tomitake-san. Then why wasn't that enough? Why did the mayor and Rika-chan and Sadako have to get killed too? I don't give a shit about the past. The only thing I care about is why Rika-chan and Sadako needed to be killed. Why is that? I didn't say a word to Sadako, you know. Why even her? Why? Satoshi-kun was speaking through Keiichi's mouth. How could I respond? I didn't know what to say. I could only feel myself being stabbed by the sharpness of those words. Kei-chan. The water clean. Please stop being mean. I don't have any idea what's going on either. Everything changed when we went into the ritual storehouse that night. When I heard that Takano-san and Tomitake-san had been killed that night, I doubted my ears. Then I realized it instantly. I realized what sort of a position I was in now. The four of us snuck in there. Kei-chan, you and I won't be so conveniently forgiven. When I thought about that, it made my chest so tight. It was so terrifying. You know that feeling, Kei-chan, don't you? That's why I confessed everything to Uncle Kimiyoshi. He wasn't mad. He smiled and told me if I was really sorry, I'd never be demoned away. He really did smile at me and told me to leave it to him. I remembered Uncle Kimiyoshi speaking ill of Satoshi-kun. I killed him, but everyone in Hinamizawa did that. I wasn't the only one at fault. When did you let the mayor know? Huh? I'm sorry, Shion. It must seem like I'm kicking you when while you're down, but Shion, you told him, right? You told old man Kimiyoshi, the mayor? Yes. When did you let him know? Kiichi's tone was becoming sharper. That edge was cruel, but it was a sharp conviction. It wasn't a dull edge that caused excessive pain. It had a clean, pleasant sharpness to it. Did you know that the mayor had a severe case of hemorrhoids and had gone to the hospital for treatment? Kei-chan? What does that have to... Please, answer me. If you didn't know, then just say so. I knew that he had hemorrhoids. It looked like sitting down was really hard for him. He was going to the hospital. You know which hospital, right? I'm sorry. I don't know that much, but... Kei-chan, what does that have to do with... I want to ask you straight. Shion, when did you tell the mayor about everything? When and where? You can give me a rough answer, but please give me one. Kei-chan. Why are you asking that? Very good, Keiichi Maebara. You know who I am, don't you? It was impossible. The day the mayor disappeared. From dawn until he vanished. There was no opportunity for you to contact him. That's... The mayor left first thing in the morning for his examination at the university hospital all by himself, without telling anyone. Shion, you just said you don't know what hospital he went to. So you couldn't have contacted the mayor until he got back. Isn't that right? His train back was delayed by an accident, and he didn't return to his house until the meeting was about to start. So there was no time for you to have told him before the meeting started either. Shion, did you go to the meeting too? Did you attend it and tell him there? If you didn't, then there wouldn't have been any time left. After the meeting was over, the mayor disappeared on his way home. Actually, with the meeting, You didn't even go to the part-time job you said you went to that day. I'll cut to the chase. You haven't been seen since we were at the library together. Kei-chan, well... Shion Sanozaki disappeared the day after Watanagashi. Bingo, Kei-chan. I'm impressed. Oshi-san says you've been missing. Despite that, you've been calling me every night like this, haven't you? Please, Shion. If something I said was wrong, please say so. Shion, I'm begging you. Corner me even further. Corner me so the demon inside can't come up with excuses so that it can't escape. Shion, there's no way you could have seen the mayor, but if you did see him... The only time I could have possibly seen him on that day was... Then you saw him after the meeting. In other words, it could have only been right before he disappeared. Or else... afterward! screeched and screeched with laughter, then slammed down the phone. Very good, Kei-chan. That's right, it's me. I'm the one. Hurry and corner me. Hurry, let me be free. Was he going to tell the police, or was he going to come here by himself? I wonder which it would be. If the police came, I'd struggle as much as I was able. I'd see how good Oishi would be at catching a demon. If Kei-chan came here alone, that wouldn't be smart of him. He couldn't complain about being eaten by a demon then. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him gruesomely while Shion watches. Therefore, Kei-chan, you shouldn't hold back. I only ever thought you were just a funny guy. I never thought I could expect so much from you. It took them a long time to come for me. I had to wait until the following morning. I opened the gate without checking who was ringing the doorbell. I didn't even care who it was. If it was the police, that'd be fine with me. If it was Kei-chan, could he defeat me? Keiichi and Rena were there. Well, this is unusual. Aren't you two going to school? We stayed home today. Kei-chan's one thing, but you two, Rena? You two are such troublemakers. I laughed. Well, let's not just stand there. Come on in. I didn't think Rena would come. I thought it would be either the police or Kei-chan alone. I'll try tricking Kei-chan into coming with me to the underground storehouse. Rena, why don't you try to figure out what I'm attempting to do and stop me? You too, Kei-chan. If you figured out I was Shion, why don't you try to figure out the rest? I will act like a demon. I will struggle until the very last moment. So don't hold back. Please don't hesitate to kill a filthy demon like me. Mion. First, I have something to apologize for. You do? What for? Well, on the night of Watanagashi, the ritual storehouse behind the shrine. Oh, I missed it. I went in there. I didn't expect this to start with an apology. Okay, so he admitted his sin of entering the ritual storehouse. I guess that was manly of him. I don't even care if the storehouse is forbidden anymore. Whatever. That rule came from those who believed it was even a sacred place at all. Mion. You called Rika-chan and Satoko the day before last, didn't you? I don't remember doing so. If you have a reason to think so, could you let me hear it? It was evening, before dinner time. Rika-chan should have come here, bringing a big bottle of soy sauce. To have you share some with her. Rena spoke with confidence. She wasn't even trying to gauge my reaction. She was simply telling me the truth. That cleverness was very pleasant to see. Why do you think that? It's not hard to understand. Mi-chan, you saw it too, didn't you? Rika-chan's room. There was chilled tofu, but no soy sauce. Plus, the big bottle of soy sauce that should have been under the sink was nowhere to be found. What? Is that why she would have come here? Helena sure is sharp. I tried to beat her on the bush, but she was confident in her conclusions. She was cornering me. She was doing such a great job, too. It really put me at ease. Okay, demon. Helena knows what she's talking about. What kind of excuse are you going to come up with now? It's a long explanation, so I'll get to the point. The contents of that refrigerator provided a vivid account of what you said over the phone when you lured her out. There it is. This game is over. Helena, I was right about you. I don't like you. You really are just too sharp. Shion is so obtuse that she never even recognized the side of you. That's... I had no idea I had such an incredible detective right next to me the whole time. I can't believe you'd figure out everything, down to the phone conversation, just from what was inside the fridge. You got me there. You got me, you got me! I laughed like crazy. I laughed because I was having so much fun. I sensed the poison inside of my stomach dissipating and felt free and refreshed. Mion, the police have suspected you for a long time now. Oishi-san's officers have had the house under observation so that they could break in at any time. Kei-chan was threatening me. He was telling me I couldn't run or resist, so I should just surrender and accept my fate. You aren't doing that intensely enough, Kei-chan. Shouldn't you grab my collar and knock me into the ground? Today's the day I'm prepared to die. After that, they went easy, because they just wanted to know the reason why Mion committed such crimes. You all are being too lenient about this. I'm a demon. I'm a murderer. Are you saying that if you can understand the reasoning, murder is okay? A demon is a demon. A murderer is a murderer. Whether their motive is to have fun, to live, or to take revenge, that makes no difference. Why do you even want to know that? Why don't you just tackle me and take me to the police? Look, there. The demon is trying to deceive you. It's a pleasure to meet you both. I am the successor of the Sonozaki family, Mion. Welcome to the Sonozaki family's house today. I'd like to greet you on behalf of our leader, Oryo. You seem to want to ask various questions. I'd like to answer everything as clearly as possible. I then told them about the strange events that led to Onigafuchi village becoming Hinamizawa, which Takano-san had told me about before. About half of it was the truth, but the other half was completely made up. I just made it sound like it was only natural that their best friend committed such a gruesome crime. Keiichi and Rana were both overwhelmed by the history of Onigafuchi village, which was swallowed by this gloomy fate. Oh well, I guess I made it sound interesting enough. I'm sure they enjoyed hearing me tell the story. But you know, I'm the one who committed the incidents that happened in the present time. What was the point in listening to those old folk tales? Are you thinking it will make your best friend's crime easier to swallow? You're just trying to satisfy yourselves. I'm a demon. I'm a murderer. I have sinned. These old folk tales have nothing to do with the crimes I've committed. The way those two listened to me so intensely almost made it fun. I told them that people used to make canned human meat and conducted gruesome research during the war. Those are things Takano-san told me. Hey, you two. Haven't you realized yet? Haven't you realized that what I'm talking about has nothing to do with what we're dealing with right now? You both look so serious. You two are such fools. So that Hinamizawa might once more be like Onigafuchi village, so that we may again be a sacred existence worthy of worship. That's the mission of those who inherit the demon of the Sonozaki main family. Those who inherit the demon? For generations, the Sonozaki family has had a custom of including the character for demon in the names of its successors. If you write out my name on your hand, it should appear plain as day. Keiichi tried to write Mion on his palm. Oh, she's right. The character for demon is in there. Not only in my name either. The demon is engraved on my body as well. I stood up and made to show my bare back. Of course, I don't actually have a tattoo there. It's okay, Mi-chan. You don't need to show us, okay? Thank you. I laughed a little. They must really believe that I'm their best friend, Mion. My goodness. The demon has won already. They were doing so well at the beginning, too. I eventually sat back down after I finished telling my made-up tearjerker stories. It's your loss if you all shed any tears now. I looked at Keiichi. He wasn't crying, but he was overcome by emotion. I looked at Rena. Surprisingly, she still maintained an aggressive look, showing me her will to fight. But Rika-chan and Satoko-chan... You killed them, didn't you, Mi-chan? You're good, Rena. You know what I just told you isn't an excuse for murder. You usually act like such a goofball, but that's not how you really are. You sure are something. You're far sharper than Shion. I'm not saying that it's okay if you killed other people. Regardless, Mi-chan, you killed Rika-chan and Satoko-chan. I'm not trying to justify what I've done. I have a demon inside of me. The demon is in my name. in my body, and also in my soul. But the demon wasn't the one who killed them. I did. Mion Sonozaki did. Rika-chan and Satoko died because Mion wanted them dead. That will never change. You're right, Rena. Come on, Rena. Try to figure out who I really am. You still believe Shion, my victim, is the real culprit. Poor Shion. I'm making Rena believe that you're responsible. That was it for Rena, though. She couldn't figure out I was Mion. Please, turn yourself in. Rena spoke to Mion. We'll go with you. We'll never leave a friend by herself. Crying children and Rena are the only things I can't beat. Too bad, Rena. I've won. I'm well aware of how serious my own crimes are. Even if they accept me turning myself in, I'll probably never be able to come back here. So I'd like you to hear one last selfish request. What is it? 30 minutes is fine. Just let me have some time alone with Kei-chan. Keiichi looked startled to suddenly hear his name. You're so insensitive, Keiichi. That's what made my sister cry. Keiichi-kun, is that okay with you? If you don't want to, then I won't make you. She's right. It's okay if you don't want to. After all, I'm a demon. And Kei-chan is a bona fide human who moved here from somewhere else. For us to be compatible, as long as Oyashiro-sama doesn't exist to mediate, it simply isn't possible. Keiichi hesitated a little. Come on, Kei-chan, condemn me. Condemn me and tell me you'd never go. Sure. It's fine. Thank you. Fool. I'd like to thank you too, Keiichi-kun. Rena stood up. As promised, she made to leave. It's fine, Rena. You can wait right here. I just want to go around the garden with Kei-chan. If you're bored, you can go to my room. You can read any manga you like. And if there are any volumes you want, you might as well take them. I don't want to. Mi-chan's books belong to Mi-chan. Rena couldn't bring them back home with her so freely. You're such a good kid, only at times like this. I took Rena's head and rubbed it like Satoshi-kun used to do to me. Okay, let's go, Kei-chan. The game was over. Too bad, Rena. At least this was more fun than if Kei-chan came alone. If he did, he could have asked me to run away with him after hearing my stories. Rena's eyes were like those of a judge. In those eyes I sensed both affection and observance. I said 30 minutes, so she would probably only wait for 30 minutes. If I took even a second longer, she'd call Oishi. I'm a little disappointed. Rena still thinks I'm Mion. She didn't manage to see through me. I thought someone like her would see the demon in me. I guess I was wrong. Too bad. Keiichi followed me after putting his shoes on. Can I hold your arm? Such a humble request. I don't mind. I took Keiichi's arm. It was as warm as Satoshi-kun's. I felt a little bewildered. Do you get kind of nervous with your arm through mine? You're not thinking, for example, that I'd suddenly put you in a world-class joint lock or anything? You two say the same things. I don't think that. At all. He was remembering the time when I'd held his arm in town. I think Shion liked you, Kei-chan. I see. I told him how my sister felt. Shion was with Satoshi-kun for a long time, but what they had was friendship. They never had anything more than that. That was why she fell in love with Keiichi. If I were in her position, I would have also fallen in love with him. If Shion was able to fall in love with him, then I could fall in love with him too. Keiichi smiled gently. I almost saw Satoshi-kun in that smile. The Keiichi I knew was worthless and superficial. I never realized he could smile like Satoshi-kun. Mion and Shion, you got along well, didn't you? Well, I wonder. Kei-chan, do you think your right hand and left hand get along? Huh? My right hand and left hand? I don't think you could describe them as getting along or not. That's how our relationship is. You can't measure it by how well we get along. We've been together since we were born. We've been living in this world as a pair. But I was Mion and she was Shion. Mion was treated specially, and I insisted on being her. Of course, that was unpleasant for Shion. Deciding to be fair, we switched places all the time. We were probably different from other identical twins. We didn't only like the same things or do things the same way. We even managed to share our knowledge and experiences. When we talked about our experiences, we could share them. As Mion and Shion, we shared everything. That was why each of us was both Mion and Shion at the same time. No, maybe Shion was the only one who thought that way. I was a little different than that. I was simply letting Shion be Mion once in a while. I was Mion, the successor to the Sonozaki family. I was supposed to be treated specially. I always thought that was my privilege. Just like everyone tried to distinguish between Mion and Shion, I also tried to distinguish between us. For example, one of your hands is dominant, so there will always be a better hand. If you only had one oven mitt, you would put it on your dominant hand without thinking, right? I think maybe it was like that for us. That doesn't mean, though, that anyone would be okay with losing their left hand. It's that kind of unexplainable relationship. I think that maybe you live too close together and just stop being able to see it, but I think that means you get along really well. I'm an only child, so the day before the festival, I was really jealous of when you and Shion were messing around with each other. I think you're jealous of something that doesn't exist. Yes, we twins used to have a lot of fun trading places with each other. But now that we have such distinctly different personalities, our resemblance only gets in the way. As an older sister, I felt that I was mean for thinking that way, so as punishment, I became Shion. Who am I? I never had a solid identity in the first place. I was Mion, then I was Shion. I should have just accepted that, but something has changed. I don't even know if I'm Mion or Shion anymore. Had I really been stupid enough to hope that Anna would figure that out for me? Shion is still alive. Really? Keiichi looked into my eyes. I nodded quietly. Yeah. I'd been thinking to give her the most horrible death of all, so I kept her locked up. I never did think of a good way to do it, though. This is a lie. I've already come up with ideas, and I've already begun to execute them. I dumped the hag into the well in front of Shion. I dumped Kimiyoshi and Rika in there. I even killed Satoko, too. And right now I'm plotting to kill Keiichi, whom Shion fell in love with. I am a demon. Any such gruesome act is simply pleasure to me. That's when I felt a warm hand rubbing my head. It wasn't Satoshi's hand, but Keiichi's. Keiichi and Satoshi-kun are totally different. Why did Shion fall in love with him? His rough hand didn't make me happy. That he understood my feelings was just my imagination. I wasn't happy, and it didn't feel good. It didn't. Come with me. I want you to see all of my sins. Although, Kei-chan, it might be the worst thing you've ever seen. I'm going to commit my final crime. I'm going to let you see it. I'm going to let Shion see it. When I do, are you still going to think I'm your best friend? Poor Shion. Kei-chan is going to die thinking it's you who's killing him. If you want to turn back, now's your chance. I don't know what impression you have of Mion Sonozaki, but it'll surely change once you go inside. How often does the trope of one twin taking the identity out of the other one out of guilt come up in Japanese media? I don't know. I don't actually know of any other media that does that, personally. It'll never change. I'll say it as many times as I need to. Mion Sonozaki is the best friend I could ever have. You are such a fool. You don't sound cool at all. I don't understand human feelings because I'm now a demon, but I think I can understand why she loves you. I opened the iron door to the underground storehouse and beckoned Keiichi inside. Come on, Keiichi. This is obviously a trap, don't you see? This basement is transparently suspicious. Don't you think you should run to the police? But Keiichi was reckless. He swallowed, then stepped inside. Ha! You really are a fool. We went down the stairs to the basement, and I led him into the torture room. Everyone is shocked their first time visiting this room. I used to be that way. Of course, Keiichi looked surprised too, but he was trying not to show it. Obviously, he wanted to express his shock at seeing this horrifying room, but he also knew that if he voiced that shock, then he would be rejecting his best friend, who was trying to confess her sins to him. So he did everything he could to stifle his surprise. According to something a family head from a long time ago wrote, blood splatter has impact, despite the fact that it doesn't tax the sacrifice. Watanagashi was meant as a deterrent, after all. My ancestors thought up all kinds of different kinds of showy torture. That's a space for the audience. Wait a second. Watanagashi is a deterrent, after all. It wouldn't make sense if there are no guests. Keiichi smiled quietly as he listened to me. No matter what cruelty came out of my mouth, he would embrace me. Was this really the superficial Keiichi Maibara I knew? Right here is where I killed everyone. There were no spectators to watch me, but I held a Watanagashi of my own. Well, perhaps there was one spectator. Huh? A spectator? Me. I, the demon, was watching the entire time Mion held the ceremony. I started to laugh. How many hints do you need, Keiichi? When are you going to figure out I'm not really your best friend? Come on, hurry up. You're running out of time. The game is almost over. This was a game. This was a game of murder. I had killed people using my revenge for Satoshi-kun as an excuse. The demon was trying to capture Keiichi and kill him before Mion's eyes. But Keiichi had a chance. If he figured out I wasn't his best friend, then he'd win. If not, he was out. When did I come up with that rule? I guess it was sometime today. Or did I come up with it just a minute ago? Since the two of them aren't too bright, I decided to be easy on them, I guess. You are Mion's best friends, right? Don't you believe in her? Have you already made Mion into a murderer within yourselves? Why don't you try to protect the Mion within you? Why don't you try to believe your friend can't be a murderer? If you could believe until the very end like Satoko did, you would have realized I wasn't Mion, your best friend, but just someone who looks like her. But if you can't, if you still believe that I'm Mion, then you're just like me. I killed the Satoshi-kun within me so easily, and you will do the same. You don't deserve to live. Back there is the prison. Is Shion there? You're not gonna make it. Once you reach Shion's cell, your time is up. The demon will win. Shion! Is that Shion? Kei-chan! Is that you, Kei-chan? Keiichi ran to the cell. Are you alright, Shion? Are you hurt? No. Shion screamed. I was standing right behind Keiichi. It was time. My preparations to kill the boy she loved were complete. For her, this was going to be the worst possible torture. Calm down, Shion! Everything is over now. Everything! Keiichi tried to quell Shion's distress by talking to her in a calm voice. It was such a funny sight. Keiichi was the only one who had no idea what was going on. Shion, how have you been? No more, please! No more! I don't want to see anyone else die! If you hate me, then just kill me already! I'm the one you hate most, right? Kill me! Kill me right now! Say! Shion. It's all over now. It's going to be alright. So calm down. Relax. I won't kill you. No, I won't kill you just yet. It's game over. I gave you enough chances. You cornered me quite well once. But that was it. You couldn't figure out that I'm not your best friend, Mion. You couldn't believe that Mion isn't a murderer. Please stop! Kei-chan! Kei-chan has nothing to do with this, does he? If you're going to kill someone, then kill me right now! I don't want anyone else to die! If you want to... Oh my god, my voice. Christ. If you want to die that badly, then after I've killed this man, I'll take my time making mincemeat out of you. In accordance with the ancient rites, I'll do it slowly, starting with your extremities. I'll shave you down and mince you to bits. I had that mincing machine set up specifically for you, after all. Or would it be funnier if I were to mince up Kei-chan in front of you? Hey, quit it already! What do you have to gain by scaring her at this point? No! Kei-chan, run away! Here you are, demon. Go ahead and take my soul. I've been living my life to avenge Satoshi-kun, but that wasn't what he wanted from me. That was just for my own satisfaction. I couldn't even face Satoshi-kun. So I'll bring this to an end in the way I want. The world became a total mess. Satoshi-kun hates me, and I hate myself too. I'm going to complete my revenge. I don't want anyone to sympathize with me. I won't pretend to be some tragic heroine either. I'm going to become a murderer that nobody could sympathize with. So please, grant a suitable final moment to me. A bluish-white flash filled the huge cave. Keiichi fell down like a doll. Shion reached out to him from the other side of the bars. She screamed at me not to kill Keiichi. Go ahead, cry and blame me. Don't even think of offering your forgiveness. I am the most rotten existence in this world. So please grant me the worst possible ending. Shion begged me desperately to let Keiichi go. I simply abused her, slandered her, and disgraced her. The more Shion suffered, the deeper I'd fall into hell. It wasn't enough. It wasn't even close to deep enough. It wasn't deep enough to compensate for my sins. I dragged Keiichi to the table that I tried to put Sadako on and restrained him there. Keiichi began to move sluggishly. Stun gun must not have worked too well on him. Can you hear it, Shion? I'm going to get started now. Savor Kei-chan's fresh screams to your heart's content. Give it a fucking rest. Keiichi squeezed out those words. He sounded good, like he was about to bite me. Awake at last, are we? I lied before, you know, about having wanted to give Shion the most miserable death of all, but locking her up because I hadn't thought of a good way yet. That was a lie. I smiled as I laid out the huge nails and hammer specifically made for the nail table. I'll let her hear the screams of all those people that died because of her, and after they've soaked into her very soul, then I'll kill her. I've got pretty good taste, huh? Who are you? Huh? I'm Mion. Mion Sonozaki. Have you lost your mind from fear? No, you're not. There's no way you can be Mion Sonozaki. I stopped moving. Kei-chan? Shit. I decided the naming game would be over once we reached Shion's cell. Therefore, even if he guessed this time, it would be too late. Oh well. Sure, I'll listen to you. This is your last chance. I see. Then if I'm not Mion, who am I? Come on, Kei-chan. Guess who I am. Why don't you try and save Mion, the girl who fell in love with you? I think this is actually another point in, I think this is actually one of the points in the chapter where you can actually, like, choose your answer and, get an alternate ending. But, yeah, like I said, in previous parts, I have those disabled to just go with the original vanilla story. I don't really want, like, the console alternate arc endings to muddy the waters. A demon. Huh? You're not Mion. Mion was just here. Give her back! Oh yeah, in the alternate ending, instead of saying you're a demon, he says you're Shion. And that just makes her get pissed and kill him. So yeah. Kei-chan, is your brain really doing okay? You're not going crazy with fear? Don't touch me! You damn demon! Give her back! Give Mion back! My best friend! Give Mion back! I listened to him with a blank expression. I know it's nonsense to demand Mion's return when she's right in front of me. But... This person in front of me can't possibly be Mion! I can't accept that! That's great! So I'm not Mion or Shion. He doesn't even see me as my sister. No, wait, that's not it. Keiichi protected the Mion in his heart until the end. He didn't accept the fact that Mion was a murderer. And not just that, either. He protected the Shion in his heart as well. He didn't conclude that if Mion wasn't a murderer, then it must have been Shion. To Keiichi, Shion was someone who always made fun of Mion. But that was it. It wasn't like they'd known each other for a long time. But Keiichi protected her. He protected Shion from being a murderer. That's why I'm a demon and not Mion or Shion, huh? A demon, huh? A demon. That's stupid. But isn't that just right on the money? Kei-chan, are you trying to drown me in my own tears? However, Keiichi didn't back off. He kept screaming. He screamed loudly so that I could hear his voice even when I was stuck inside of a demon. You can do it, Mion! Don't lose to this piece of shit demon! My voice hurts so bad. We're close to the end, but I think there's another chapter after this, and it'll be a short stream when I do it, but I want to save it. But I gotta get to the end of this stupid chapter first, so I can save my goddamn voice. Surely he isn't talking to me knowing that I'm the real Mion, right? He's just confusing us again. So there's no reason to let my heart be disturbed by Keiichi's screams toward Mion. Come on, Mion! Mion! Why did you lose to a demon like this? You're not that weak, are you? Don't give up. Fight! Fight! He's right. I didn't fight back. How did he know? How did he know I didn't fight back? I lost to the demon. After all, I'm weak. I'm not strong enough to defeat the demon. Even so, Keiichi continued to talk to Mion. His voice had become hoarse and he had begun sobbing. He kept mumbling. Mion, Mion. Kei-chan, this may not be something pleasant to take to the grave with you, but you really seem to want to know, so I'll tell you just one thing. A long time ago, the demon came to live inside me. It was gnawing at my heart, trying to spur me to violence, but I suppressed it with my reason. The demon had become quiet, and I got to thinking it had gone away somewhere. As it turned out, I was wrong. It hadn't left. It was just sleeping inside me. That was the truth. When I learned about Satoshi-kun's disappearance, my weak soul couldn't take the sadness, and anger filled me to the brim. But the insanity had stopped there. Time had healed me, and embraced me with memories of Satoshi-kun. The demon woke up again due to a certain small opportunity. What do you think that opportunity was? It was such a little thing. This might be strange for me, a demon, to say, but you're the reason that everything got so messed up. A tear rolled down my cheek. At the time, if you had given me that doll you got, without hesitation, maybe everything wouldn't have gotten so twisted. You probably can't understand. I wouldn't expect you to. But you see, all sorts of things started falling over like dominoes after that. And soon it was too much for me to control. It only makes sense that you wouldn't be aware of knocking over the first one since it was so small. But you're the one who set them up. If Kei-chan hadn't done something so insensitive, Shion wouldn't have cried. Shion cried and talked to me about it. That had reminded me of Satoshi-kun. I became jealous of her for having someone she loved so close to her. It was a very small jealousy, but the little feeling woke up the demon who was sleeping deep inside of me. After that, I just let the demon take over. The demon ate up all of the sadness for my loss of Satoshi-kun, and filled my heart with the notion of revenge, even though I knew that it wouldn't make Satoshi-kun happy. Then the scary incidents that followed dragged me to hell, from whence there was no escape. That can't be, can it? It only makes sense that you wouldn't be aware of it. Even so, Kei-chan, you are without a doubt the cause. If you had nonchalantly given me the doll that day, then I don't think this would have happened. Was I simply transferring the blame to Keiichi? Such a tiny thing woke up the demon inside of me. The demon would have woken up eventually. I was at fault. I didn't fight back. I let the demon live in my soul, and I let the demon possess me. Keiichi didn't hide his tears. They were pouring down his cheeks. Maybe he was crying in my place, since I'd become a demon and couldn't cry of my own will. Can I start now, then? This method of torture is very simple. I'll nail one of these into the first joint of your left pinky finger. Then I'll nail each one in order until I get to your thumb. Then I'll go back to your pinky and nail one into the joint in the middle. So on and so on until I hammer 15 nails into your left hand. Shion's bad at math, yay! When that's over with, I'll do your right hand next. After that, if you're still conscious, I'll tell you. There are a lot of nerves bundled in your fingertips, so it hurts far more than you could imagine. Some people apparently pass out before you finish hammering 30 nails into their hands, so... I put a nail to Keiichi's left pinky. Once I hit it with the huge hammer, it would start, and it would be over. I didn't hesitate at all when I was torturing the others. But somehow I do when it's you. If this will satisfy your demon, Mion, if it will sate the demon, then do to me what you will. I didn't understand what he just said, so I tried to repeat his words in my head. Are you serious? Compared to how much I hurt Mion, this is nothing, right? Do as much as you want. In exchange, promise me 2 things. After you're satisfied with causing me pain, forgive Shion. She's been punished enough to make up for her crime of sneaking into the storehouse, hasn't she? You. After all this, you still care about Shion more than yourself? Demons eat out the ability to do math in your brain. I am Mion Sonozaki. So why are my eyes growing so damp when hearing Keiichi show concern for Shion? The other thing is that when you've had your fill, you disappear. Give that body back to Mion. That's all. You know, Are you not even considering possibly begging for your life or anything? Can I ask you to promise 3 things instead of 2? The third is to leave me alive. You said 2 in the beginning, didn't you? So you can't have any more. That's a shame. Even in this situation, Keiichi and I joked around and laughed. Then I knew. I knew why Shion fell in love with him. He's different from Satoshi-kun, but he's a good guy. I probably won't keep these promises, understand? I'm a demon, after all. I guess there's nothing I can do then. Keiichi smiled and then closed his eyes. Kei-chan, I'll agree to just the third thing, okay? Huh? Your first wish? To save Shion? That's not possible. The demon will kill her. It's already been decided, so I can't stop it. So please give up on that. I stroked Keiichi's chin. As for your second wish, to give this body back to Mion, that won't happen either. After today, Mion will never come back. From today on, even if my body remains, it'll be just a shell. You have dyscalculia? Oh no. No, it's not from a demon. Because the demon has taken it over. That isn't true! Mion is... Mion! Don't say such sad things! Like that she will never come back! Can you hear it? That sound? I've been hearing a noise. I knew what it had to be. A dull sound was repeating in a regular rhythm. It was accompanied by a light tremor. People were trying to force open the iron door to the underground storehouse. You're late, so Dana probably called Oishi. That spaced out girl being so quick thinking was the one thing I didn't anticipate. I'll agree with you there. Really? I wonder how much Kei-chan really knows about Dana. Rena Ryugu. I won this time. Dana couldn't figure out who I was until the end. Or maybe she did. Dana didn't seem confused about whether I was Mion or Shion. Perhaps Dana could tell Mion and Shion apart through his sense of smell. She was good at that kind of thing. No way. I'm overestimating her. I brought out my stun gun so Keiichi could see the sparks. You've probably never seen one before, right? It's a real stun gun. It's illegally modified and its power has been increased quite a bit. Was that what you hit me with before? It's not a toy children should be playing with, you know. You're right. They must have broken the first door. The path was complicated, but there was no other door except for the one to this torture room. I won't kill you, but I will have you go to sleep for a bit, Kei-chan. Oishi will be here soon. This will only hurt a bit. Keiichi bit down and smiled bitterly. I paused, hesitating a little. Keiichi opened his eyes to see what was wrong. I'm sorry for disgracing Mion. I made a promise before coming in here. Whatever happens, the Mion inside my heart won't change. Look, forget about that. If you ever see me after today, don't come near me. By then, it'll be the demon that inherited my corpse. Bzzz. Keiichi fell unconscious. I locked the door to the torture room. I locked the door to the huge cave, too. That should give me enough time. Shion! Come on out! I opened the cell and told Shion to leave it. She was crying. You asked me to let Kei-chan go, so I did. According to an old teacher of yours, your dyscalculia is because you're lazy and dumb. Ah, yes, that definitely makes any amount of sense and is supported by a modern understanding of the condition. Absolutely. He's out cold because of the stun gun. The police should be here soon, so they'll set him free. Thank you! Thank you! You still have something more to do. Shion has to escape from here. I took Shion to the cell with the hidden passage. Before that, I'll give Mion back to you. Huh? Take those clothes off. We're switching again. Here, the rubber band for your hair. Shion had no idea what was going on, but she changed her clothes as I ordered her to. I gave her the flashlight, and she hung it around her neck. You go first. Find the hidden escape route at the bottom of the well. Oh, they did? The light from the flashlight wasn't enough to entirely illuminate the way down. Nobody in their right mind would want to descend that well. But Shion obeyed and timidly climbed down the ladder. When she had passed entirely below the rim of the well, I brought out my stun gun and put it to Shion's head. Shion understood the meaning of that. Sis! I didn't kill Kei-chan, just as you wanted. You told me I could kill you instead, didn't you? I'm gonna keep our promise. Shion's hands and feet were clinging to a very unstable ladder, so there was no way she could protect herself. She was in a critical situation. You, who looks like Mion, need to fall into the bottom of the well and die. I look like Shion. Kei-chan will testify that I'm the victim. I'll wait in the cell for the police to get here. I'm sure they'll eventually find out the truth from our fingerprints, but by the time they get that far, I'll be hiding somewhere else. Pretty good, huh? Are you killing me out of revenge for Satoshi? If you know that much, you should have been prepared. Go apologize to Satoshi-kun at the bottom of the well. Sis, Satoshi isn't at the bottom of the well. Huh? Didn't you say that the bodies get dumped down here? All I said was that if he was killed at the Sonozaki house, this is where his body would be. What are you telling me now? Can't you be a little clearer? I also like Satoshi. Yeah, I'm sure. I liked him after all. I was very sad when Satoshi-kun disappeared, so I looked into things. And I interrogated Granny. I even thought about throttling her. Then she told me. She said she was only telling me as the successor, so I had to keep it a secret. She said was something hard to believe. The hag said to Shion, the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with the disappearance of Satoshi-kun. Shion couldn't understand, so she asked again. The Sonozaki family held a lot of influence in the underworld because of our dad's connections. In fact, they used such illegal measures during the dam conflict. Therefore, people just assumed the Sonozaki family had pulled the strings when the dam construction incident took place. Even the hag laughed meaningfully and said suspicious things, so everyone believed she was the mastermind. But it was all a performance. It was a hoax by the Sonozaki family head. It was just a bluff. The family took credit for the incidents to make it look like they were pulling the strings. With the influence they already had, this bluff was very believable. Therefore, people thought of the Sonozaki family as one that had deep connections in the underworld, and that they were capable of producing any sort of conspiracy. People have believed that since the dam conflict. Oryo just smiled at things she had nothing to do with, as if she was pulling the strings. When the relatives saw that, they became fearful of Oryo's power. When the dam construction site manager was killed, Oryo smiled meaningfully. When the relatives saw that, they assumed Oryo was behind it. When the Hojo couple fell off the cliff, when the Furude couple died violently, when Satoshi-kun's aunt died and Satoshi-kun disappeared, the hag just smiled meaningfully. Everyone believed the Sonozaki family was behind all those incidents. That's a lie! Are you trying to tell me the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with any of it? How can I believe that? I don't think Granny would lie. Especially about Satoshi-kun's disappearance, since she said she knew nothing about it. Because Granny approved of the relationship between Satoshi-kun and you, remember? You ripped your nails off so she would forgive everything. No, that's a lie! Don't try to fool me! Then who made Satoshi-kun disappear? Who? That... I don't know. But it wasn't the Sonozaki family. It wasn't Granny. You know the curse system, right? The hag didn't need to give the command for Satoshi-kun to be attacked. All she had to do was look concerned, and then someone else would take care of it. That was the system! Shion couldn't say anything in response. Even if the hag had forgiven him personally, as long as he was the object of the curse, the executioner would follow him forever. Granny told me that she had tried to find out who was actually behind this curse of Oyashiro-sama for a long time. But she couldn't. Everyone believed it was someone in the village, but she couldn't find out who it was. She couldn't find out? Then why did the curse take place every year? Isn't it weird? But there wasn't anyone. There really wasn't! I told you that Hikafurude tried to attack me earlier with a syringe, didn't I? How do you explain that? She wasn't just acting out of desperation like a cornered rat. She came over to my house and attacked me with a bottle of pepper spray and a syringe. I bet Tomitake-san was killed with that same stuff. That... I don't know. I can't believe that Rika-chan would do something like that. I'm the one who saw how she died, and I still can't believe it. What a completely abnormal way to go. I don't think Shion and the hag are lying. That would mean the hag wasn't in as much control as we thought she was, though. She didn't know anything about that scary drug, or if the Furude family was the one executing the curse. If the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with it, then who made the series of mysterious deaths possible? Was it just a coincidence that something happened 5 years in a row on the night of Watanagashi? That's impossible. A human must have made it happen, and it was all decided somewhere the Sonozaki family wasn't aware of. The Kimiyoshi family didn't know anything. Kimiyoshi believed the Sonozaki family was behind it. Was it the Furude family? With Rika's behavior and the elderly people who believed in her so blindly, did some kind of power exist around the Furude family that created the curse? No way! The Furude couple themselves were victims of it. How could a little girl like Rika possess a power stronger than that of the Sonozaki family? No way, it's just impossible! In other words, I had killed the heads of all the 3 families, was trying to bring an end to the whole thing, all as a result of a misunderstanding about the dark secret of Hinamizawa. Then what about my revenge? Did I kill all the wrong people? People who had nothing to do with Satoshi-kun's disappearance at all? That's good, Shion. You're still trying to turn the tables on me, huh? Sis, please, believe me. I'm not your enemy. I really am not. Please, believe me, sis. Shion begged with tears in her eyes. That would have affected me if I was still Shion's sister. But I don't feel anything anymore, because I'm a demon. I'll be done once I kill Shion. I've already decided that. If I don't finish it up, what would my existence be for? What about the life I devoted to revenge for Satoshi-kun? How dare she tell me all this nonsense to try to confuse me at the very end? If what she said was the truth, then what I'd done wasn't revenge. It was just the curse of the 5th year. Shion, if you're truly innocent, you can go to heaven. Apologize to Satoshi-kun for me. Sit! A bluish-white spark lit up the darkness, and Shion disappeared into the well. Please apologize to Satoshi-kun in heaven. I can't, since I won't be going there. Instead, I'm going deep into hell. Jumping into this well would be too simple an atonement for what I've done. Until I find a perfect way to end my life, I'm going to live as best I can. New tips unlocked. Notebook page 199. Achievement unlocked. Shocking end. We'll view this last tip and then we'll be done for this stream. And then next time we'll finish it up in a probably pretty short stream. We do have the after party, to be fair. Shion Sonozaki's last confession is dubious. Did the hag convince her that the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with it? Or is that the truth? In my own investigations so far, I've proven there are aspects of the curse which can't be explained by the Sonozaki family alone. So my notes were all bogus from the beginning. These 200 pages are full of bullshit. I thought of burning this notebook. But I won't do it. This notebook proves my guilt. I won't distort the facts. I won't burn it. After all, my life was only a notebook long. I wonder if anybody will read this. If somebody does, please let them learn something from my stupidity. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, dubbed Oyashiro-sama's curse. If you're reading this, please find the truth. That's my only wish. June 1983. Mion Sonozaki. Well, not sure what to say about that one, actually. I feel like I usually have more to say at the end of these, but yeah, thanks for coming along. Hope I never want to say like, oh, hope you enjoyed yourself, because I mean we're watching a fucking depressing ass horror visual novel with people killing their friends and screaming at each other. But I guess if you can call, the emotional experience of going through that enjoyment, then I hope you guys don't regret your time spent here, I guess. I will try to get another stream of this done soon when I can. Probably not tomorrow. I'm still sitting on progression 1 footage. I need to deal with that. But obviously, I only have time after work. So maybe that'll be tomorrow, or maybe later this week. Thursday is more Ape Escape. I don't know. We'll see. I guess just, you know where to keep in touch. You guys are probably subscribed or at least check the channel regularly. So thanks for coming along once more. I'm gonna go to bed pretty soon. My throat is hoarse and I'm tired, so I gotta go to work tomorrow. So